Fairy Tale, Recruiting Mirajane at the Start. Chapter 61. Entering the Magic Tower. Then make an agreement, when I become stronger and qualified to be your opponent. Don't you refuse my challenge again. Although Natsu was a bit unwilling, he was not discouraged either. He vaguely understood that Sol Luo is probably a stronger existence than the old man. So he set himself a small goal, that is to defeat Makarov first, and then challenge Sol Luo. Well, after you are qualified to be my opponent, I will never refuse your challenge. Sol Luo nodded and agreed. But he knew in his heart that even Natsu had learned good abilities in the magic library. But wanting to catch up with him is still too fanciful. However, it seems not bad to come and play with Natsu after the many things in the Phoenix Guild have been dealt with. The days to come are not boring either. Then next, I invite you to visit another unique building of our guild, the Magic Tower. Sol Luo said, leading everyone to the Magic Tower not far away. The Magic Tower has 7 floors in total, and the height of each floor does not exceed 3 meters. However, the walls of this building reveal a vast array of stars like stars, containing a very mysterious power. Just a glance made Makarov and others unable to remove their eyes. The light of stars on the wall of the Magic Tower has irresistible magic power, which deeply attracted them. As if cracking the mystery of these rays of light, they could become the strongest existence in the world. However, Makarov soon came to his senses, and at the same time he understood how terrifying the Phoenix Guild was. There are SS-class Warcraft dead souls as guardians, and there is a magic library that records countless precious knowledge. Now there is another magic tower that is very mysterious, like the abyss of the magic road. I don't know what powerful abilities this magic tower has. Wake up the 3 of Urza, Makarov leads them to follow Sol Luo's footsteps. In a short while, they stepped into the first floor of the magic tower. In the eyes, there is a wonderful space that is so vast that you can't see the end, and towering so high that you can't touch the sky. Makarov and others were surprised to find that the air here contains superfluous magic particles. And there is a very mysterious power that makes their minds clearer. In the past, some doubts were difficult to solve, but gradually got the answer here. Here. Makarov was so shocked that he couldn't speak. This is the inside of the magic tower. As you can see, this is a space that is folded to infinity through space magic. In addition, in the magic tower, you can not only improve your perception ability, the speed of magic power recovery, and even the speed of magic power training will be greatly improved. And this is a layer of the magic tower. The higher the number of layers, the stronger the effect of amplification. Sol Luo explained with a smile. When he first stepped into the magic tower, he was also extremely shocked. Each layer of the magic tower is almost a vast to infinite space, which can ensure that everyone's cultivation will not be affected by others. As for going to a higher or lower level, and want to leave the magic tower, you only need to speak softly, and a space door will appear, teleporting it. It can only be unlocked at level 3 guild, and the magic tower is even more advanced than the magic library. This makes Sol Luo even more looking forward to how powerful new functions will be unlocked by the level 4 guild. After Makarov heard Sol Luo's words, he also felt shocked to no avail. After experiencing the magic library and arriving in person at the magic tower, Makarov has understood why the Phoenix Guild can rise in such a short period of time. With these 2 major buildings, even if it is a wizard who is no longer abolished, I am afraid that he can quickly become a strong one. Was this also made by Sol Luo? Makarov was more than shocked. Well, in order to test the knowledge you have learned, let's go directly to the higher level. As Sol Luo's words fell, a door of space suddenly appeared in front of him. This method made Urza and others very surprised and curious. After all, space magic is too scarce, and it is difficult to practice. Except for Makarov, the other 3 people saw this kind of transmission method for the first time. Chapter 62. Elementalization. As everyone crossed the gate of space, Sol Luo and Makarov soon reached the 6th floor of the magic tower. As for Urza and the others, they went to the 3rd floor and were hosted by Mirajane and others. Because with their strength, they can't make it to the 6th floor. Even Mirajane, who is the strongest among the few people, usually goes to the 4th level to practice at most. At the highest level, the pressure is too strong, and she can't bear it. It's not even just pressure. The higher level of the magic tower has a higher increase, including the perception of magic. This also leads to overactive thinking. In the case of insufficient strength, it is impossible to control it at all. As for Makarov and Sol Luo, because of their strength, there is no problem. Compared with the first layer, the sixth layer has changed a lot. If we say that the first layer is a vast and boundless space of stars, then the sixth layer is the ecological space that restores many environments. Deserts, mountains, forests, seas, etc. are all available. But what shocked Makarov the most was, these environments are all condensed by superconcentration magic particles. The magical particles of different attributes in the air are seriously exceeding the standard. Therefore, the fire element turns into an active volcano, the water element turns into the sea and river, and the wood element turns into forest and grassland. The same is vast to the limit, but the overall increase of the sixth floor is 16 times that of the first floor. The 50% increase in the first layer has given Makarov a long perplexed magic problem, and it feels faintly to be solved. The 16-fold increase of the sixth layer has made his brain run more supercomputer continuously, and all the magic knowledge in his mind is connected in series. Soon, Makarov successfully entered the elemental state, like the incarnation of light, and began to shuttle continuously on the sixth floor of the magic tower. At the same time, Sol Luo's ear also rang the sound of the system. Ding! Makarov masters the elementalization of light. Congratulations to the host for mastering the elementalization light. Sol Luo's guess came true, who is not a member of the Phoenix Guild, as long as he learns the ability from the magic library, he can get it. In addition, as they master a higher level, Sol Luo will also master it simultaneously. Even more powerful than the abilities they have mastered. Not long after Makarov mastered the elementalization, another system prompt sounded. Ding! Natsu has mastered the elementalization of fire and the part of burning fruits. Congratulations to the host for mastering the elementalization fire, Yanchangzu, Shenhuo Shiranui. Sol Luo didn't expect that the second person who successfully mastered his abilities was actually Natsu. But thinking about it seems normal. Makarov was able to master elementalization as soon as he entered the sixth layer, not only because of the high increase in the sixth layer, but also because of his own profound knowledge of light magic. When the two are superimposed, it is natural to quickly grasp the elementalization of light. And Natsu is similar. He owns the Fire Dragon Slayer magic, and can even consume many flames for his own use. To some extent, his threshold for elementalization of fire may be lower than Makarov. If it weren't for the increase in the third layer as well as the sixth layer, maybe Natsu could understand it faster than Makarov. As for Gray, his practice is slower. Because he didn't learn Bingbingwo's moves for the first time, instead he was ready to raise the air conditioner to the level of cold air. Strictly speaking, Bingbingwo's moves have very high preconditions, and it is difficult to release it solely by the level of air conditioning. So Gray's approach is also a very correct step. Urza is comprehending the swordsmanship, first to make up for some of his previous basic flaws. This aspect requires a lot of work to go further. Makarov and others cherish the opportunity to enter the magic tower and dare not neglect at all. And Mirajane and others did not waste time and started daily practice. Because Race had already condensed the Zanpakuto, he needed to communicate at the spiritual level and obtain the real name of the Zanpakuto in order to master the initial solution and the swastika mode. So he did not enter the magic tower, and currently sits in the Phoenix Guild. With him, Sol Luo is not afraid of problems with the guild. Then, I should also condense my own Zanpaku knife. Speaking of which, it seems that this is my first time practicing in the magic tower, right? Sol Luo shook his head with a smile. No way, he is also very busy with the rapid growth of the guild. Putting aside the messy thoughts, Sol Luo gradually became demonic. A blood-colored spear condensed in his hand. Chapter 63. Lays departs again. At dusk, Sol Luo led the crowd and walked out of the magic tower. Mirajane and the others didn't feel much, but Makarov and the others were very disappointed. The magic tower is a holy place for cultivation, no matter who it is, they want to go in and stay there. Unfortunately, Makarov and others are not members of the Phoenix Guild, and it is impossible to stay. However, through these nearly 10 hours, they have also changed tremendously. Makarov still has an opportunity to master the method of becoming a giant of light. Gray had reached the pinnacle of the air conditioning level, and he was only one step away from becoming cold. Natsu is stuck in the move of the great Yandi Yanja, and requires more subtle control of the flames to master. Urza hasn't changed much, but her breath is sharp as a sword. She failed to step into the second realm of swordsmanship, but her aura was several times stronger than before. This time, the practice was mainly due to the explosion of their previous accumulation, so they could get such a huge improvement in a short period of time. President Soluo, don't give it away. When we arrived at your guild this time, we have all gained a lot. Thank you for all this. When your guild comes to our fairy tale, we will definitely welcome you with the highest specifications. Walking out of the Phoenix Guild, Makarov showed a sincere expression. For Soluo, he really wants to make friends. If it weren't for Soluo already had a Phoenix Guild, he would definitely pull Soluo to fairy tale at all costs. Such a pity. Makarov sighed in his heart. Faced with reality, Makarov soon had another idea. That is, you must befriend the Phoenix Guild. Now that the Phoenix Guild has chosen to communicate with Fairy Tale Guild, this is a good start and must be maintained. We are looking forward to it. Soluo smiled and nodded. After watching Makarov leave, he returned to the guild hall with everyone from the guild. After half a month, we will visit Fairy Tale Guild. During this period, everyone continues their own affairs. But there are some things that need to be explained. As Soluo spoke, he tore off a commissioned task from the bulletin board. This is a crusade mission, which looks nothing on the surface, but the location of the crusade is strange. It was an abandoned city ruin, which was destroyed about a year ago. In addition, the reward for this task is the key to Leo. The original Leo key should be the Blue Pegasus Guild, the possession of a newly added celestial spirit wizard Karen. But less than 3 days after the opponent joined Blue Pegasus, he was killed and Leo key disappeared. The key of Leo, who has mysteriously disappeared, suddenly appeared and also appeared in the Phoenix Guild in the form of a commissioned task. He obviously wanted to lure the members of the Phoenix Guild to the ruins of a city. The monkeys can see that there is a big problem. Lays, there are some problems with this mission. I hope you can take action by yourself and get the ladder out. After Soluo told Lays some of the situation, he said earnestly. If this is the case, the other party is indeed directed at our guild. This is designed specifically for us, it is probably the grimoire heart that appeared not long ago. After hearing the relevant information about Leo Key, Lays also reacted. In this regard, he did not shirk, but directly obeyed Soluo's arrangement and accepted the task. Grimoire heart dared to make another move, and he would inevitably learn the lesson from last time. So this commissioned task is a big trap. But Lays is no ordinary person. Mastering the spirit's dragon-killing magic, he can leave the body of the spirit dragon at any time and act as a ghost. Except for a few strong people, few people can discover the existence of Lays. So this seemingly dangerous task is not too stressful for Lays. Furthermore, he was still an S-rank magician, digested the soul of the Cold Snake King, and condensed the Queen of Zanpaku. Rice's current combat power is several times stronger than during the Nag War. After receiving the mission, Lays, regardless of the dusk, took the magic train directly to the mission location. Soluo can be considered to have found out. After Lay joined the Phoenix Guild, he was completely a workaholic. After shook his head and led the crowd for dinner, Soluo entered the 7th floor of the magic tower alone. Compared to the 6th layer, the magic particles on the 7th layer are more dense. A full 36-fold increase, so that any magician can become stronger quickly, and any magical insight will be quickly amplified. After arriving on the 7th floor of the magic tower, Soluo first sorted out the knowledge he had learned recently. Among them is the very advanced knowledge of light magic taught by Makarov. Because I have mastered the ability of light elementalization, it can be said that it is very easy to come back and learn these things. Soon, Soluo learned the magic of light taught by Makarov. Then he started another practice. Although anyone in the magic library has learned and mastered a certain kind of magic, then Soluo can also master it instantly, eliminating the time for learning. But there is a magic that no one else can learn. That is Soluo's exclusive magic, the magic of the Devil's Destroying God. The magic of the Devil's Destroyed God, under the transformation of the system, is already a magic that directly connects to the gods. Therefore, this magic requires Soluo to spend time on his own development in order to be promoted to a higher level. It wasn't until late at night that Soluo left the magic tower. The Devil's Destroyer magic is different from ordinary magic, and its development difficulty is much higher than that of super magic. Even if there is a magic tower, it will take a long time to develop to the level of a god. Before that, I'll take care of part of the guild first. Soluo thought to himself. Except for his personal training time, most of his energy must be devoted to the guild. The creation of magical airships and strategic magical weapons, Uranus, will not be considered for the time being. Both of these require a lot of rare materials to forge, and even the cheapest magic airship will cost hundreds of millions of J. The current Phoenix Guild, although it has welcomed many clients. However, in addition to the rewards that the members of the guild received after completion, relying on the guild's handling fees, it is obviously a serious shortage to accumulate the funds to build the magic airship. So Sol Luo is ready to target intelligence channels. In this regard, in addition to relying on Makarov's contacts, maybe you have to go to the council stronghold and find the stronghold minister. My Zanpakuto, I hope you don't let me down. Sol Luo turned his eyes to a long knife in his hand. This is the Zanpaku knife condensed with the Demon King's blood spear as the core. Originally, Sol Luo needed to enter the demonization mode to use the power of the Demon King's blood spear. But now he doesn't need to be so troublesome. After transforming into the Zanpo Deo, he also retains all the power of the Demon King's blood spear. Moreover, Sol Luo had vaguely sensed the consciousness hidden in the Zanpai Deo. It's just that he still can't communicate with the soul, communicate with the sword spirit of Zanpo Deo. However, Sol Luo can be sure that with the power of the sword spirit, this Zanpaku knife will definitely become more terrifying. Chapter 64. The Monster Who Eats Iron. The next day, Race ran to perform the task early in the morning. The significance of this mission is extraordinary, and the opponent is likely to be Grimoire Heart. So he must capture all his members and then bring them back to the Phoenix Guild. Once the Grimoire Heart member's mouth was opened, more information was obtained. Then the Phoenix Guild has a chance to counterattack Grimoire Heart. At the same time, Sol Luo also went to the council stronghold not far from Tank City. Originally, he wanted to borrow the base minister to get in touch with the council headquarters. But along the way, some pedestrians stopped him. Iron Monster? Could it be that guy? Through pedestrian conversations, Sol Luo learned that an iron-eating monster appeared on an iron mine south of Tank City. Although this monster keeps the child's body, it is as hard as iron and uses iron ore as food. Moreover, the opponent has appeared more than once or twice, and many iron ore veins around Tank City have been invaded by the opponent. Therefore, ordinary people take a detour around this. The iron ore merchant has spent his money and summoned many wizards to fight against the monster. According to these characteristics, if nothing else, it should be Gajeel. The northwestern region of the Kingdom of Fiori is not suitable for planting, but it has rich mineral resources. Gajeel will appear here, and it is indeed reasonable. Sol Luo had a general guess in his heart. Able to devour iron ore and still appear as a child, Sol Luo can't think of anyone other than Gajeel who masters the magic of Iron Dragon Slayer. It is indeed normal for the other party to come near Tank City. It's different from when Natsu had just passed from 400 years ago to modern times when he met Makarov. Gajeel has been wandering for a long time. Mastering the magic of Iron Dragon Slayer, he can fill his stomach and become stronger by devouring the iron ore that contains magical power. That's why the opponent will appear here and feed on iron ore. Gajeel is a rare talent. In the future, he can defeat Bloodman, one of the 12 shields of the saints. It is worth recruiting. After having an idea, Sol Luo changed direction and hurried towards the place where Gajeel appeared. A group of people are gathering near an iron ore mine that is still being excavated dozens of kilometers south of Tank City. These people are all lone rangers in the magic world, that is, wizards who have not joined the guild. They have only one goal here, and that is to eliminate the iron-eating monsters. But when they saw that the so-called monster was a child, they all hesitated. Is this really good? Bullying a kid? Although we have not yet joined the Sorcerers Guild, how does this approach differ from the Sorcerers of the Dark Guild? Several fairly young wizards still maintained the kindness and justice in their hearts, and did not intend to make a move. When they tried to persuade other wizards, they were pushed aside by the mine owner. Is this a child? Have you ever seen a child who can eat iron? This may be the appearance of some kind of monster that masters transformation magic, deliberately exposed. No matter what, you must drive him away, it's best to drive him to other areas. The bloated mine owner has a face full of malice. He doesn't care if the other party is a child, as long as he dares to block his own financial path, he must solve it. Cut. Not far away, Gajeel, who was sitting next to the iron ore cave, bit down the magical iron ore. Although he looks vicious on the outside, he also holds a kindness in his heart. Just forced to survive, he had no choice but to feed on iron ore. And now, facing the dozen or so wizards ahead, Gajeel can only prepare for battle. Owing to the pressure of the mine owner, more than a dozen older wizards took action one after another. They are lone rangers, it is difficult to find a way to make money, so they will not easily give up the bounty in the hands of the mine owner. More than a dozen magic circles were formed quickly, and various magics such as flames, ice bolts, and water flow quickly attacked Gajeel. Kaji! Gajeel let out a weird laugh, then his mouth bulged. Iron Dragon's Roar! A silver whirlwind suddenly sprayed out of Gajeel's mouth. At the same time, countless sharp iron pieces were mixed in the whirlwind, and the combination of the two forces broke out with extremely strong destructive power. In just an instant, a dozen magics were destroyed by Gajeel. This is really a monster. What are you guys doing in a daze? Give me all of them. The owner of the mine was so frightened that his body was shaking for a while, and while running to the distance, he did not forget to urge the wizard he hired. This kid is very strong, so use all your strength. According to the previous information, even if our hands are so heavy, it will be difficult to break his steel skin. A man with a vicious temperament dispelled the only hesitation and conscience in other people's hearts with a single sentence. Anyway, the child's skin is very defensive, so no matter how heavy an attack is used, there will be no life-threatening danger, right? And then they can still get the money. Thinking of this, everyone quickly constructed a magic circle, a magic that was far stronger than before, burst out in an instant. Gajeel's face was slightly pale, but his heart was as strong as steel, and he was not afraid. Iron Dragon's Roar! The silver whirlwind and sharp iron flakes appeared again, sweeping like a pale black storm. But Gajeel was only a person after all, and he was far from the strength that would defeat the 12 shields in the future. Soon his magic power could no longer be sustained. Just when the hot flames, biting ice, and thick soil spears were about to fall on Gajeel, a figure appeared from not far away. The Wrath of the Demon God. Chapter 65. Soliciting Gajeel. Wrath of the Devil. In an instant, a dark storm like a natural disaster flew out at an extremely fast speed, annihilating all the magic in the sky in less than half a second. So strong! Who is the other party? All the wizards were stunned, and they turned their sights, and soon saw Sol Luo slowly coming from not far away. I am not wrong, right? It turned out to be him. President of the Phoenix Guild, Sol Luo. When everyone saw Sol Luo's face clearly, they were all shocked. Phoenix Guild. On the other side, Gajeel's face also changed. He thought that Sol Luo was also a wizard commissioned by the mine owner, and subconsciously wanted to escape. However, the other party's figure appeared in front of him instantly, making him afraid to move. Even if Sol Luo condensed his magic power, Gajeel still perceives the terrifying power in the opponent's body with his dragon-like keen perception. Don't worry, I won't hurt you. The gentle words rang in his ears, and Gajeel couldn't believe it. But he remained silent, wanting to see what Sol Luo was going to do. Turning around, Sol Luo glanced around, his eyes finally staying on the mine owner. You are the owner of this mine? I can make up for how much damage this kid has caused on your side. Compensate. Renjing's mine owner quickly realized what Sol Luo wanted to do. I have heard of your name, President Sol Luo of the Phoenix Guild. But I didn't expect you to be so kind, but this guy ate me a lot of iron ore and lost more than 800,000 J. But for your face, I don't need to compensate, I just hope you can take him away. The mine owner put a smile on his fat face. Gajeel did cause some damage to him, but he just wanted to drive him away. After all, it will be difficult to recover the loss from Gajeel if he continues to pursue it like this. Therefore, the mine owner hopes that Sol Luo can take Gajeel away. As for making Sol Luo compensate, don't be funny, the Phoenix Guild, which is now famous, is not something he can afford. This is a check for 1 million J. Take it. Sol Luo casually threw a check to the mine owner, then turned around and reached out to Gajeel. Come with me, I will take you to a place, from now on no one will call you a monster, and no one will hurt you. Looking at Sol Luo's sincere expression, Gajeel felt the kindness of this world for the first time. Especially when he saw that Sol Luo was willing to spend a large sum of money to pay for his mistakes, he had already accepted the other party in his heart. Kaji, can you take care of it? Gajeel gave a weird laugh and made his request. As long as you are willing to work, you will never be hungry. Sol Luo didn't expect Gajeel's request to be so simple, and couldn't help but laugh. Okay, that uncle will go with you and join that Phoenix Guild. Gajeel reached out and held Sol Luo's palm with an unruly smile on his face. Although he is stubborn, he is very delicate in his heart, and many things can be answered without thinking. Ding! Congratulations to the host for successfully recruiting Dragon Slayer Gajeel of Iron. Congratulations to the host for acquiring the special ability, the power of the Iron Dragon King, and the origin of steel, exclusive to Gajeel. After successfully recruiting Gajeel, Sol Luo also received systematic rewards. Different from the previous magic and spells, the power Sol Luo gained this time is the power of the dragon. And unlike the power of the dragon that Gajeel will awaken in the future, this is the power of the Dragon King. The power of the Iron Dragon King can make Sol Luo's skin tens of times stronger than steel, or even hundreds of times stronger. At the same time, this power can also be attached to any object, and while getting a strong defensive power, it will also bring the ultimate physical attack power. From a certain point of view, this force has the same effect as the domineering of the armed, but the class is several grades higher than that of the armed. Of course, the extent to which the power of the Iron Dragon King can be exerted depends on the magic burst in Sol Luo's body. As for the origin of steel, this is a special item. The appearance is like iron, but the inside contains the ultimate steel power. As long as Gajeel swallows the origin of steel, this power will continue to grow stronger as he grows, making his Iron Dragon Slayer magic a qualitative improvement. This can be regarded as Gajeel, the power that can compete with Natsu's Fire Dragon King in the future, right? Sol Luo secretly guessed and looked forward to that day. After successfully recruiting Gajeel, Sol Luo did not continue shopping outside, but took him back to the Phoenix Guild first. Choose a location for stamping. Only when stamped with the emblem of the Phoenix, you are the real member of our guild. In the Phoenix Guild, Sol Luo held the stamp and said to Gajeel. Yukino, Elfman and others on the side also looked at Gajeel curiously. In addition to Lays, Gajeel is also the second time the chairman went out to recruit members. They all know how strong Race is, but they don't know about Gajeel. Just put it on your left arm, Black. Gajeel stretched out his left arm directly. Soon, the Black Phoenix coat of arms was successfully stamped, and Gajeel was as excited as the Yukino and others who received the coat of arms for the first time. President Sol Luo, here is a letter from you. Just when Sol Luo was about to introduce Gajeel to Yukino and others, take him to choose a room to live in, and get familiar with the library and magic tower. A magic homing pigeon flew in suddenly. My letter. Sol Luo easily solved the magic in the letter, and looked at the contents of the letter after opening it. After a while, a strange color appeared on Sol Luo's face. This letter was written to him by Makarov. As for the content, it's very simple. Laxus, a former member of Fairy Tale Guild, has resigned from Fairy Tale Guild. Chapter 66. Recommend Sol Luo to be the Saint 10? I didn't expect Laxus to quit Fairy Tale now, what exactly does he want to do? After reading the content of the letter, Sol Luo was a little confused. Because this is different from the plot he understands. Laxus left without saying goodbye, leaving Fairy Tale Guild with only a letter. This incident caused a huge response from the Fairy Tale Guild, and everyone went out looking for Laxus like crazy. The purpose of Makarov's letter is to hope that if Sol Luo finds Laxus, he can stop him. At the same time, he vaguely expressed his helplessness. If Laxus is determined to leave Fairy Tale Guild, then, as the president, Makarov can only admit this fact and erase Laxus' name from the Fairy Tale Guild. If Laxus did this, it would be just a prank. Then there is still room for maneuver. But the other party really did the same as the letter said, determined to withdraw from Fairy Tale Guild. Then he will no longer be a member of Fairy Tale Guild. It seems that Laxus is still a bit rebellious like the original, and wants to prove that he can become a real power without relying on the title of Makarov. I just hope that the other party will not go to a crooked road. Sol Luo sighed secretly, and then ignored it. Laxus's strength is very strong. It has been proved in the NEG war that his strength is not weaker than the 5th level wizard. Therefore, the fact that the opponent quit the Fairy Tale Guild was a major earthquake in the magical world. Many people have secretly guessed what secrets are hidden behind Laxus's withdrawal. At the same time, some people were wondering how to bring the other party to their own guild. But in Sol Luo's eyes, all this is just a rebellious child who ran away from home and wanted to find his own way and future. After this incident was learned by Elfman and others, they were also very surprised. They couldn't understand why Laxus had to withdraw from Fairy Tale Guild. However, they are also like Sol Luo, who are completely eating melons, and soon ignored them. After letting Gajeel meet the members of the guild, Sol Luo took him to the magic library. This may be the most amazing library in the world. Although you master the Iron Dragon Slayer magic, it does not mean that there is no magic for you. In front of the magic library, Sol Luo said earnestly to Gajeel. For iron and steel magic, he didn't have too many ideas. But this does not mean that Gajeel cannot master his own abilities from inside. Just like Mirajane and Elfman. Who would have thought that they, who mastered receiving magic, would have learned the modes of Susanoo, Bayman Dungia, and Immortal. So Sol Luo is also looking forward to Gajeel being able to learn the ability to match him in the magic library. Gajeel nodded and quickly walked into the magic library. Sol Luo turned around and left the Phoenix Guild. He hasn't forgotten that this time he is looking for the minister who is the stronghold of the council. Although the other party said that his position was very low, he had no right to speak in the council. But how can it be that simple to be a leader of a stronghold? Magic Library, 2nd floor. Gajeel walked casually, hesitant in his heart. For some reason, several very mysterious intuitions appeared in his mind. It seems that as long as you follow your intuition, you can find the magic that suits you. But there are 3 kinds of this kind of feeling, which also made him very hesitant. Forget it, choose the closest road, kaha. Gajeel finally chose the principle of proximity and quickly turned to a book from a bookshelf. This is Physical Skills. Looking at the large characters on the cover of the book, Gajeel's expression was a bit stunned. 6 forms and profound meaning. Although I feel very strange, why does the magic library have physical skills? But remembering Sol Luo's words just now, Gajeel still opened the cover and looked at the content. The 6 types are the 6 moves that surpass the limits of the human body. You can only master them when you are strong enough to a certain extent. These moves are iron blocks, land feet, finger spears, jingles, paper paintings, and moon steps. 6 forms are super physical skills, and there is still a lot of room for extension. Based on the 6 forms of moves, you can develop your own moves. If you cultivate to the extreme, you can even master the 6 types of profound meaning. Gajeel became more frightened as he watched. Each of the 6 moves is a physical skill that can only be activated when the physique reaches the terrifying level. If ordinary people are allowed to practice, they will definitely become a powerful physical skill expert. It can be him who integrates the Iron Dragon Slayer magic into the 6 types. Then under the double superposition, only 1 + 1 = 3, or even more than 5 horror effects will erupt. After all, Iron Dragon Slayer magic, but a magic that can make the body stronger than iron. With the combination of physical skills, Gajeel's physical attacks will reach an even more amazing level. This made Gajeel's heart hot, decisively memorizing the 6 cultivation methods, and ready to start practicing body art immediately. Council Stronghold. Ask for flowers. Sol Luo passed many members of the council and walked into the office of the head minister with ease. Ming, isn't this President Sol Luo? Seeing Sol Luo coming, the head of the base, Naito, immediately became enthusiastic. I'm tired again, I hope it didn't bother you. Sol Luo also has a smile on his face. Hurt, there is nothing to interrupt, you just came here, I have a good thing. Since you are here, then I will just tell you. Naito waved his hand indifferently, and at the same time got up and walked to the office door to look outside. After confirming that there was no one around, he closed the door of the office and his expression suddenly became serious. What's the matter? Sol Luo raised his brows. It was the first time he saw this base minister with such a serious expression. Your strength should not be weaker than Jose and Markruff? Naito whispered and said quietly. Could it be that you have encountered something difficult? May as well speak frankly. Seeing Naito's appearance, Sol Luo was curious, what exactly does the other party want to do? But when Naito saw that Sol Luo did not deny, he couldn't help but shudder. It seems that the president of the Phoenix Guild is indeed a strong man who is not weak in the top 10 magic masters. Perhaps you may not be very clear about one thing, that is, how the Saint 10 magic guides should be selected. In fact, Ishgar is not the only one who has reached the 10 wizard saints level. It's just that some of them were not recommended by the local council and did not contribute to the peace of the Ishgar mainland. That's why those strong men failed to become the top 10 holy wizards. Naito did not directly answer Sol Luo's question, but instead explained the requirements of becoming a Saint 10 magic guide. So, do you want to recommend me to become the top 10 holy wizard? Sol Luo immediately understood Naito's thoughts when he heard it. The top 10 holy wizards, although they are the culmination of the reputation of the wizards of the Ishgar continent. But after becoming the holy 10 great wizard, it also means that you have to shoulder the responsibility of protecting the Ishgar continent. However, even if you become the Saint 10 Magic Guide, you may have to deal with the extremely difficult tasks assigned by the council. But in return, it can be regarded as fame and fortune. If Sol Luo can become the top 10 holy wizards, then his status will immediately improve a lot. At that time, let alone the kingdom of Fiori. Even outside the kingdom of Fiori, on the wider land of the entire Ishgar continent, many powerful kingdoms will know the existence of Sol Luo. By then, won't the reputation of the Phoenix Guild soar directly like a rocket? Chapter 67. Application for S-level assessment. Although the probability may not be very high, after all, the 10 congressmen have many things to be considered. But I think that my recommendation is secondary. The contribution you made in the Neg warfare is the biggest help. With that great record, you may not be able to become the youngest Saint 10 Magic Guide. Naito said seriously in his eyes. At the same time, his heart is hot. If Sol Luo is recommended by him, he becomes the top 10 holy wizards. Then he will also be rewarded by the council. And the best reward is naturally promotion. Naito has served as the minister of this stronghold for 5 years. If he hasn't made any achievements yet, he will be here in his life. But if he can help Sol Luo become the top 10 holy wizard, then he will fly with him. Not to mention becoming the highest level chairperson of the council, but he still has some certainty that he wants to be a member of the 7s and 70s. So Naito really hopes that Sol Luo can become the top 10 wizards of the holy. I don't care, but I don't think this thing is so easy. The youngest Saint 10 Magic Master, listening to me is also very moved. But none of us can guarantee that the lawmakers will agree. Sol Luo shook his head, very clear-headed. Although the Nag War incident did maintain peace on the Ishgar continent. But wanting to directly become the top 10 magical masters of the holy, it is still too idiotic. Because objectively speaking, the Nag War is more to maintain the peace of the kingdom of Fiori. The conflict between Warcraft and humans has always been staged on the continent of Ishgar, and the Nag War is just an enlarged microcosm. I really want to talk about contributing to the peace of the Ishgar continent. It is also necessary to eliminate and arrest the Dark Guild before it can be recognized by the council. Moreover, the seat of the Saints' top 10 magic directors is actually not as easy to obtain as imagined. In the original book, the appearance of the snake scale GG can become the top 10 masters of the holy, mainly due to the influence of Jalal. The situation at that time was that the 2 members of the council were dealing with the incident that disrupted the peace, that is, the R system. Moreover, Jalal's thinking body Cheek Rain was still a holy 10 master at the time. Therefore, the complete outbreak of the R system incident caused the council to be greatly hit. Most of the incumbent parliamentarians are forced to retire early, and even the chairman of Parliament Crawford can't stand alone. Due to the stability of the council, Jura will eventually be selected as the top 10 wizards. At the moment, the council is still peaceful, and many intrigues have not yet ushered in a flashpoint. Therefore, the current Saint 10 Magic Director is far more difficult to take up the post than imagined. Having said that, you can fight for it anyway. Based on what I know about the members of the council, as long as you are willing to nod and agree, there will definitely be 3 people who will agree. At that time, I will use a little bit of strength to help fuel the flames. It is very likely that half of the councillors will make you the Saint 10 Magic Guide. Hearing this, Sol Luo couldn't help but glance at the other side. This old fritters is not as simple as expected. Well, since you are willing to recommend me, then I can only nod and agree. But while you submit this information, I have another thing for you to help. Our Phoenix Guild wants to hold an S-level assessment and hopes to be recognized by the council. Although Naito said that the sky is falling into the sky, Sol Luo does not think that he can successfully serve as the top 10 master of the holy. So he simply proposed another thing, that is, the S-level assessment. S-level assessment? Are you sure you want to propose this assessment now? When Naito heard the words, he suddenly showed a look of surprise. If you say that the top 10 masters of the holy, it is only about the strength of a person. Then the S-level assessment, that requires multiple existences with the level of the S-level wizard, before it can start. With his knowledge of the Phoenix Guild, it is hard to imagine that there are many members of the Phoenix Guild who are qualified to participate in the assessment. After all, a month ago, the Phoenix Guild was still a lonely guild of wizards. Yes, it is now. As for the exact time, let's set it on July 7th each year. Sol Luo nodded affirmatively. S-level assessment, although it needs to be approved and reviewed by the council. However, the specific assessment method and the opening date each year are determined by the president of the Wizards Guild. Since you are so confident in the members of your guild, then I will also turn in this matter by the way. July 7. That is 1 month later, when the headquarter will send audit members to your guild. Naito agreed to Sol Luo's request and promised to handle the matter perfectly. Okay, it's okay, I won't bother you anymore. Sol Luo nodded, then got up and left. For Naito, the stronghold minister, he is still very optimistic. After all, this can be regarded as him, the first acquaintance in the superpower of the council. If there is a chance in the future, it may not be able to help Naito go one step further. At that time, the Phoenix Guild could be considered to have someone at the council headquarters. Southeast of the kingdom of Fiori, the Hungduan Mountains. At this time Mirajane was alone, coming here to perform a crusade mission. Susanoo. As the magical power in Mirajane erupted wildly, a 6-meter-tall black skeletal giant appeared. In front of her, there is a rock-shaped python. This is Mirajane's goal this time, the rock python called the mountain python. Roar! Perceiving the weird skeletal giant on Mirajane, there is a strong sense of crisis. The rock roared, the magic in the body burst out wildly, and there were countless large and small rocks floating around. Humph, too weak. Mirajane spoke proudly, her eyes full of disdain. This made the rock even more angry, and controlled the rock at a faster speed, directly hitting Suzuo Nohu's body. Rumble! Suddenly, like a cannonball baptism, there were bursts of explosions around Susanoo. But the next second, a pair of huge dark claws suddenly protruded, and a face caught the rock. Before the opponent had time to react, the force of Horror 4.7 suddenly broke out, directly crushing the rocky body into countless broken rocks. The rock python looks like an animal, but it is actually a beast transformed from a rock. This is also a very rare monster in the history of magic, elemental monsters. It's still too weak to raise any interest. It's a pity that Sol Luo brother refused to let me perform those S-level tasks. Otherwise, how could I come to perform crusade missions of this level? Mirajane's tone was a bit regretful, but I remembered that soon, I could go to the Fairy Tale Guild to hang the armored girl Urza. The inner expectation made her feel better. Hey, what is this? Suddenly, Mirajane seemed to have discovered something, and walked to a nearby pothole that had just been bombed. After the pit was blown out, some dark rocks were exposed. Chapter 68. Mirajane's discovery. The hot summer scorches the earth. However, the Phoenix Guild seemed unaffected, and the interior was still somewhat cool. There have been a lot of clients recently, and the degree of difficulty is gradually increasing. This is a good sign. Since Lays is not there, Sol Luo can only handle events related to the delegated task himself. And in this process, it is not without gain. Compared to the previous days, the recently commissioned missions that the Phoenix Guild ushered in have gradually increased in difficulty. This means that the client who was still in the wait-and-see stage began to make up his mind to entrust those difficult tasks to the Phoenix Guild. This is also a recognition of the strength of the Phoenix Guild. This makes Sol Luo feel very happy. In terms of the number of commissioned tasks, the Phoenix Guild is no weaker than the Fairy Tale Guild and other powerful wizard guilds. But in terms of the high difficulty of the commissioned task, the Phoenix Guild is still in the development stage in this regard. Several of them have reached level 5 in difficulty. As for the more difficult SS-level missions and 10-year missions, there are none at all. This also means that the Phoenix Guild's personal network is still seriously insufficient, and it cannot attract those clients with stronger financial resources. But with Makarov's help 27, the situation has improved a bit. Sol Luo touched his chin. In the past 2 days, some of the clients who released the S-level missions were fished from Fairy Tale Guild. It will allow those clients to travel thousands of kilometers to reach Tank City, where the Phoenix Guild is located. On the one hand, those clients trust the Phoenix Guild. On the other hand, Makarov is playing a leading role. Sol Luo was also touched that the other party could achieve this level. To know these clients, each of them can be regarded as a large mobile treasury. Makarov's unexpected use of this method to help expand the network of the Phoenix Guild is undoubtedly a bloodbath. It seems that we can cooperate more with Fairy Tale Guild in the future. Although Makarov also values connections and development, for them, friendship is a more noble existence. Fairy Tale Guild is different from other sorcerer guilds. In their view, friendship is even more important than money. So cooperating with Fairy Tale Guild is also a good thing for Sol Luo. The other party is a more reliable and worthy partner. After converging his inner thoughts, Sol Luo opened the guild interface. After several days in a row, the reputation of the guild was also rapidly increasing. Phoenix Guild. Guild level, 4. 3 small reputation value, 75210/150000. President, Sol Luo. Guild members, Leith, Mirajane, Elfman, Lysina, Yukino, Nea, Gajil. Guild buildings, Magic Library, Magic Tower. The reputation value of the guild today is close to half the distance from the upgrade. However, the strength of the guild members has changed a lot. Sol Luo first opened his own interface. Unconsciously, he has also mastered many abilities. Sol Luo. Identity, President of the Phoenix Guild. Magic, Saint 10 Magical Class. Abilities, Ultimate Conjuration Lord of 10,000 Demons, Demons Destroying Magic, Suzuonangu, Immortal Mode, 8 Doors Dungia, Power of the Iron Dragon King, Ice Magic Cantamirror, Soul Magic Soul Dream Shattering, Special Conjuration Devil Incarnation, Elemental Light, Elemental Fire. In addition to system rewards, and the ability to solicit member rewards. The existence of the Magic Library also enabled Sol Luo to acquire many abilities simultaneously. So he has a lot of abilities. As for the members of the guild, their strength has improved a lot than before, except that Rice progress is a bit slow. Rice himself is an S-rank magician, and with enough beast souls or human souls, he can even burst to the level of the top 10 magical masters. Therefore, his strength wants to make a leap forward, which is difficult to achieve in a short period of time. In addition, Sol Luo did not forget another function of the system. That is, if each member's strength exceeds a certain level, he can get the corresponding reward. So far, Sol Luo has only triggered it once, that is when Mirajane and the others first became wizards. The follow-up has not been triggered again, including Lays and others, not even once. Sol Luo felt that the so-called strength breakthrough may have a stricter standard. For example, becoming a sorcerer, breaking through to level 5, Holy 10th, 4 Heavenly Kings, and Guardian 12 Shields, and so on. And this kind of breakthrough is to improve after entering the guild. So the current progress of Mirajane and Race is not enough to trigger. However, correspondingly, the stricter the requirements, the more rewards Sol Luo can get after it is reached. This gave Sol Luo a little expectation in his heart. If divided according to this standard, Mirajane is estimated to be the fastest member of the S-level wizard. With the existence of the Magic Tower, Mirajane and the others usually stay in it for cultivation. Therefore, their progress in cultivation is improving and breaking through almost every day. Among them, Mirajane has the fastest progress. The embryonic form of Suzuo Nohu, she has been able to drive completely, and the magic in her body is deep to a critical point. Continuing at this speed, Mirajane is likely to enter the S-level within less than 2 months of joining the club. At that time, Sol Luo will also be able to know what grade the rewards for member breakthroughs will be. Brother Sol Luo, I'm back. Just as Sol Luo thought, Mirajane's voice came from outside. I'm back, it seems that this mission is still not difficult. Seeing Mirajane coming back with a big backpack, Sol Luo said with a smile. Isn't it? I thought the enemy I encountered this time would be very strong, but I defeated it with just one move. It's so boring. When it comes to this mission, Mirajane is not in a good mood. Sol Luo was also helpless about this. Although there are many tasks during this period, they are either more difficult or too low. Those S-level tasks cannot be executed by Mirajane yet. On the one hand, Sol Luo is prepared to wait until the S-level assessment is approved and opened, and then hand it over to the members who become S-level wizards to execute. This approach can arouse the competitive spirit of other members, just like Mirajane, a child with a proud heart. 780 On the other hand, it is the request made by those clients. In the previous discussion, if it were not for Sol Luo's assurance that the Phoenix Guild would give birth to an S-level wizard in a short period of time, those clients would probably remove the S-level mission. Even the current members of the Phoenix Guild are very powerful. But for those clients, they trust the sorcerer who bears the title of S-rank sorcerer more. It is for this reason that Sol Luo had previously asked Naito to submit the review of the S-level assessment to the council. This matter cannot continue to be delayed, otherwise the development of the association will be restricted. The S-level assessment proposed by the Wizards Guild requires a month or even half a year of review before the council will agree. That's why Sol Luo said that setting the S-level assessment date on July 7th is the fastest speed. As for whether it can be achieved, in addition to looking at Nito's means, Sol Luo also wants Makarov's help. After all, no matter how you say it, there is also a congressman behind the Fairy Tale Guild. With Yagma's status, it can still pass the review quickly. By the way, brother Sol Luo, look at what this ore is. I discovered this by accident before. I feel that these ores contain magical power, so it took a while to dig it out. Mirajane put down the big backpack and took out a dark ore from it. This is... Sol Luo's face suddenly condensed. Walker Ore. Chapter 69. Sol Luo Brand Guild Store. The ore that Mirajane took out was extremely dark on the outside, but contained a strong magic inside. You know, apart from man-made magic crystals, minerals with rich magic power rarely appear in nature. After all, those ores have been excavated by humans until they almost disappeared during the 400 years after the Dragon Age. Picking up a piece of ore, Sol Luo recognized it after careful observation. This is a very rare, even almost extinct ore, named Walker Ore. Walker Ore not only contains magical power, but it is also a very strong ore. The hardness far exceeds that of diamond. It is the best material for building magic weapons. Where did you find this thing? Sol Luo is curious about where Mirajane got the Walker Ore. This kind of ore is difficult to be born. Once it appears, almost all of it is occupied by the Council and the major kingdoms. Because you want to create the most advanced magic weapon, Walker Ore is the best core material. For example, in the Nag War before, the strategic magic weapon that used to bombard and kill hundreds of monsters was made with traces of Walker Ore. Just a small amount can burst out the destruction of that scale. If you use Walker Ore, you can create a strategic magic weapon. Then even if it is the top 10 magical masters of the Holy, I am afraid that they will have to retreat. So Sol Luo attaches great importance to Walker Ore, which is the best material for Uranus. The original lethality of Uranus is several times that of Jupiter. If it is made with Walker Ore. Sol Luo seemed to see the future when Uranus smashed a 12 shield of the saints into serious injuries, and even killed them directly. This ore was discovered during my mission. That place is on the hill on the northwest side of the Hongduan Mountains. So, how precious is this thing? Mirajane took out a map, which was skewed and abstract, but it was the location of the veins of Walker Ore. As for what Sol Luo just said, she didn't understand the preciousness of Walker's ore at all. So she wanted to know the specific value of Walker Ore. You may be a little vague about the value of magic weapons, then I will explain in the simplest words. For example, the piece I have on hand, 32 kilograms, is worth 16 million yuan. This is the most conservative valuation, but the price of Walker Ore is definitely over 500,000 per kilogram. Upon hearing this, Mirajane's eyes lit up immediately. She quickly took out the Walker Ore from the big backpack, and the weight was already over 100 kilograms. This represents the Walker Ore of her big backpack, worth more than 50 million. Thinking of this, Mirajane finally felt that carrying such a heavy thing these days, it was not in vain. Looking at Mirajane, Sol Luo couldn't help but laugh. It stands to reason that since these things were discovered and unearthed by Mirajane, they naturally belong to Mirajane. She can sell them directly, and at most give some to the guild. But Sol Luo felt that this was a bit wasteful. Recalling the things that came out from the system guild level gift pack before, Sol Luo felt that he could use this opportunity to create a special system. Abbreviation, Guild Store. The principle is very simple. If a guild member collects something useful to the guild, he can turn it in. Sol Luo will give members a corresponding contribution value based on the value of the item. After that, Sol Luo can put some special things in the guild store, and sell the contribution to the guild members in currency. In this way, both the assets of the guild can be expanded, and some things that Sol Luo can't look up to can be sold by the most reasonable means. This way of internal digestion can enable the Phoenix Guild to develop better while becoming stronger. Regarding the specific system of the guild store, it may need to be further improved. But you can take the opportunity to open it up at this time. After telling this concept to Mirajane, although the other party understood it, it was still a bit difficult to give up. Sol Luo simply took out the magic sublimation spar, which is currently the most attractive thing for Mirajane. This is the waste force sublimation spar, which can improve the quality of your magic power and exert a stronger combat power. Although the upper limit of this thing is an S-rank sorcerer, it is very suitable for you. Hearing this, Mirajane was immediately moved. I understand, but how many contribution points does this magic sublimation spar cost? How much contribution points is worth a kilogram of walker ore? This is what Mirajane is most concerned about right now. As for Sol Luo, naturally he would not do anything to pit members of his own guild. After all, if you do this again, the guild store was born to serve guild members. However, the things that came out of the guild gift packs were also very precious things. It's like a magical sublimation spar. Looking at the entire continent of Ishgar, nothing similar can be found. Even if there are, they are defective products with serious side effects. Therefore, some of the resources Sol Luo has on hand, if sold externally, are also very valuable. So Sol Luo pondered for a moment and gave a reasonable value. Walker ore, every kilogram turned in can be exchanged for 10 points of contribution. The price of magic sublimation spar is here at 80 points of contribution. In the conversion, the contribution value of each point of the guild is equivalent to 10,000 J. This is more convenient for statistics. If this is the case, then turn in all of them, and first give me 12 magical sublimation spars. Mirajane thought for a while and decided to turn in all the walker ore on her hand. It's a pity that the magic sublimation spar is a scarce product, there are only 10 at present. But you can also look at other resources for redemption. With that said, Sol Luo took out more things and placed them in front of Mirajane. At the same time, he also took out a roll of magic paper and wrote all the relevant resource values on it. In the future, if there are guild members who want to exchange resources, they can exchange it through this magic paper. Moreover, this magic paper will be modified according to Sol Luo's will, but it has many aspects. However, the system of the guild store, Zhanyos, will eventually be managed by a member. Sol Luo thought for a while and decided to let Yukino take over. Because there is only Yukino at the moment, he stays in the guild hall to learn about his history. Although I don't know what abilities Yukino has learned in the library. However, Sol Luo is still looking forward to the performance of the other party. On the other side, there is a donkey in a forest trail somewhere. Lays walked slowly, with the golden key hanging from his waist. This is the celestial spirit key of Leo. In addition, there are tens of thousands of flames floating around Lays. I didn't expect tens of thousands of black wizards to run out of this mission. But this is fine, but it saves me a lot of soul. More importantly, the location of Grimoire Heart's stronghold is also known. You must tell the president of this matter. Ray's expression was a little heavy, and his pace couldn't help speeding up a bit. Chapter 70. Summon Leo Celestial Spirit. You mean you searched the memories of those people and finally found a stronghold of Grimoire Heart? In the Phoenix Guild, Sol Luo looked at Lays and asked again. Yes, you will grow up. It's just that the stronghold is relatively hidden and the location is very rugged. It takes a lot of effort to find the precise location. Race assured him again and again. Understood, you should go and rest first. I will take care of this matter. Sol Luo frowned slightly and motioned Lays to go to rest first. This time I was able to find a stronghold of Grimoire Heart, which is good news. Contrary to this, Lays' outing this time also brought a not-so-good thing. Grimoire Heart, it was just a targeted ambush, and it sent tens of thousands of black wizards. This represents the strongest dark guild on the bright side, and its power is far beyond imagination. But as his thoughts turned, Sol Luo began to write a letter. Although Grimoire Heart has been with the Phoenix Guild, it has reached the point of almost endless death. But the council also wanted to eliminate the 3 strongest dark guilds. Therefore, in this matter, Sol Luo is going to let the council intervene 800, and with the help of the council, destroy the stronghold of Grimoire Heart. After all, no one knows how much power is hidden in this stronghold. Therefore, letting the council take action together is the best option. You can just brush your face. This matter may also give Naito some credit. After all, it is the only stronghold where the 3 major dark guilds have been discovered. Sol Luo thought for a while, and prepared to write a letter to Naito. Balam Alliance, it sounded very loud, but they actually didn't dare to brow directly. The top 10 holy wizards selected by the council are not decorations. What's more, the top 4 of the Saint 10 great wizards are the 4 heavenly kings with even more terrifying strength. Therefore, to be able to find the stronghold of the heart of the devil, this incident is enough to cause an uproar in the council. On the other side, Lays did not return to his room immediately. Instead, he went to the front desk and took the Leo key from his waist. Yukino, you are the only member of the guild who learns celestial spirit magic. The Leo key has no effect at all by my side, so this thing is for you. Leo handed Leo in front of Yukino, Chet. The key of Leo is the celestial spirit key of the zodiac and the captain of the zodiac. So the preciousness of this key is naturally self-evident. However, for Lays, the power of celestial spirit has no effect at all. Rather than storing it, it's better to give it to Yukino to enhance the overall strength of the guild. This is also the influence that Soul Luo brought to them. Not selfish, but will consider other partners of the guild. Hey, is this really okay? Seeing Leo, Yukino's eyes lit up. Although she learns the ritual magic of hero summoning in the magic library, her current power is celestial spirit magic. As a celestial spirit wizard, Yukino, like other peers, does not have much resistance to celestial spirit keys. What's more, this is still the key to the powerful Leo in the zodiac. But Yukino hesitated for a moment, and did not take the Leo key. After all, this was Lays' gain, and she still couldn't take it away comfortably. Accept it, this thing is really useless to me. Lays waved his hand nonchalantly. After that, regardless of whether Yukino agreed or not, he put it on the desktop and left. This made Yukino a little at a loss. After hesitating for a while, she accepted it and prepared to wait for a chance to repay Leith again. Seeing this scene, Soul Luo remained silent. He would not interfere in such private affairs between members of the guild. Moreover, the key of Leo is indeed handed over to Yukino to achieve the greatest effect. If it is kept in Lays' hands, God knows if the other party will have a whim and want to taste the soul of celestial spirit. Since it's all like this, don't hesitate to sign the celestial spirit contract directly. I'm also curious about what Leo's celestial spirit will look like. Soul Luo said. Hearing this, Yukino felt relieved inexplicably, and nodded lightly. She was holding the Leo in her hand, chanting the contract spell while activating the celestial spirit magic. I am the one who connects to the celestial spirit world, respond to my call and cross the door. Open it, Leo's gate, Leo. The key of Leo burst out with dazzling golden light, and as a bright golden magic circle flashed past, a human figure suddenly appeared. This time is the celestial spirit wizard, this little girl. Leo wore a suit and gave Yukino a gentle smile. But even so, Soul Luo and Yukino can still feel a sharp breath from him. It seems that Leo, who has not been affected by Karen, is a pure warrior. Soul Luo nodded secretly. In the original book, Leo fell into a state of being abandoned for 3 years due to Karen's death. But now, Karen was killed by Grimoire Heart before he could sign the celestial spirit contract with Leo. So the other party is naturally not like the gangsters in the original book. Hello, I am the celestial spirit wizard Yukino. Excuse me, what are your taboos? Yukino pulled out a small notebook from nowhere. The so-called celestial spirit contract seems very tall. But it actually depends on which day of the week this celestial spirit can be summoned. Celestial spirit also has its own life, so the celestial spirit contract is also very important. If celestial spirit is summoned on the days of breach of contract, it will worsen the relationship between celestial spirit wizard and celestial spirit. In addition, if the celestial spirit is in danger, even if the celestial spirit is not in the time to be summoned, it will take the initiative to show up to help the celestial spirit. Unless the relationship between the celestial spirit and the celestial spirit wizard has deteriorated to an extent that it is difficult to mediate. It's just that this kind of situation is hard to come up. Most celestial spirits attach great importance to the celestial spirit wizards who have signed a contract with them. I have no taboos, no matter when it is, I can be summoned. Unlike other celestial spirits, Leo can be regarded as the only celestial spirit who is willing to fight for the celestial spirit wizard from the heart. So he has no taboos. As long as Yukino needs it, he will show up. In that case, the celestial spirit contract is signed. Yukino put away the small notebook, feeling very happy. After some exchanges, Leo realized that where he was, it was the Phoenix Guild. By the way, I have something to say. Leo, do you want to go to the guild's library to see it? Maybe, you can master the magical magic other than celestial spirit magic. Soul Luo suddenly gave Leo a mysterious smile. Chapter 71. Leo's Library Harvest. Whether it is a member of the guild or other people outside the guild, you can find the magic that suits you in the magic library. Soul Luo is able to synchronize the magic they have learned, and is even better than them in terms of mastery. But the people who stepped into the magic library before were all human beings. So Soul Luo is very curious whether Leo, the celestial spirit, can find his own magic in the magic library. Magic library? Although I don't think celestial spirit can learn human magic, I am interested in trying it. Leo did not refuse, smiled and nodded. So under the leadership of Sol Luo, he and Yukino came to the door of the magic library. Looking at the mysterious magic library in front of him, Leo was a little surprised. This feeling is even more mysterious than the celestial spirit library of Father Crux, deepening the mystery. It seems that the Phoenix Guild is not an ordinary wizard's guild. Leo sighed inwardly. Although celestial spirit wizards are rare in the world, the celestial spirit wizards who can sign a contract with him are even rarer. But Leo has appeared many times in the world, and he knows the common sense of the magical world. It is precisely because of this that he feels that the Phoenix Guild is definitely not an ordinary wizard's guild. With this thought, Leo stepped into the magic library with some expectation. Vaguely, a mysterious force was guiding his mind, causing him to quickly come to the third floor of the library. There is an unpretentious bookshelf with a book on top. But with this book, Leo made a kind of longing in his heart. As if to get this book, he will be able to gain extremely strong power. Let me see what magic is recorded. Leo took a deep breath, suppressed the restlessness in his heart, and picked up the book. When he saw a few words on the cover, his pupils shrank suddenly. Golden Leo's Small Universe Moves. Golden Leo? Isn't this me? Also, what is the little universe? The title of this book made Leo look dumbfounded. However, he looked forward to it more in his heart, and soon turned the pages of the book to read. Golden Leo's Small Universe Moves can only be learned by those who master the magic of celestial spirit. But in order to master these moves, in addition to the celestial spirit magic power, you also need to have a strong physique. The moves of the Golden Leo are Lightning Ion Fist, Lightning Beam Fist, Lightning Light Teeth, and Photon Burst. Among them, the Lightning Ion Punch is a punch that can hit 100 million punches per second. When the stroke is released, the beam will form a large net to capture the opponent, making it impossible to avoid it. Leo's expression kept changing, shocked for a while, puzzled for a while. But after reading the entire book, he only felt that the celestial spirit magic he had learned in the past was weak. If he can perfectly master the small universe moves, even if there is only one move, he is confident that he can beat the celestial spirit king. Without him, although these moves appeared in the form of magic version, but the potential of these moves is very high, and it is not weaker than Susanoo. The small universe moves recorded in this book, whether it is boxing or celestial spirit magic, are almost tailored for me. Could it be that the president saw through my abilities and created this book for me based on my situation? After reading the book, Leo was shocked. But what is even more shocking is that the author of this Leo's Small Universe Moves is Sol Luo. If you are someone else, you may have some doubts in your heart. But Leo is very sure, this book was created for him by Sol Luo. This is the intuition from celestial spirit. It's hard to imagine, this president has such a terrifying magic talent. Being able to create such a magic, in addition to unconstrained creativity, it is more important to have a huge reserve of knowledge. Obviously I am just a celestial spirit, but because my celestial spirit wizard is a member of the Phoenix Guild, did they develop these moves specifically for me? Many thoughts flashed through Leo's mind, but they all disappeared, leaving only Sol Luo's extremely stalwart back. In fact, he really admires Sol Luo more. It is because in this book, he found a way for celestial spirit to stay in the world for a long time. It only needs celestial spirit magic power to reach a resonance point with the magical particles in the world, and then it can be implemented. This is an ability that Celestial Spirit King cannot create. This also made Leo even more respectful of Sol Luo in his heart. When Leo left the magic library, he found that Yukino was the only one left outside. You have finally come out. Lord Sol Luo left because there was a chance. 4 flowers. So next, let me take you to another place. Yukino closed the history book in his hand and smiled at Leo. If I didn't guess wrong, it has been an hour since I was called. A combat-type celestial spirit like me consumes more magic power every minute. Can you still hold it? Leo's tone was hesitant. Maybe my magic power is not as good as Master Mirajane. But don't underestimate me. In an instant, a huge magical power erupted from Yukino's body. Although this magical power is still a short distance from level 5, it is enough to crush many magicians from the outside world. This surprised Leo very much. Compared with other wizards, celestial spirit wizards will lack more magic power. However, the magic power in Yukino's body is so huge that it even almost meets the conditions for opening 2 celestial spirit doors at the same time. It seems that this Phoenix Guild is far more terrifying than I thought. Leo thought to himself, while keeping up with Yukino's movement, he gradually walked towards the magic tower. When he saw the magic tower, and after entering it, he showed an expression of disbelief just like Makarov. On every floor of the magic tower, the space is extremely large. This made Leo suddenly feel that compared to this, the celestial spirit world is simply a very trash little world. The magic tower allows you to master the magic you learned from the library faster. In addition, Lord Soloyo left a sentence before leaving. In the magic tower, the power of celestial spirit will not be suppressed by the world, and you can live here for a long time. Hearing this, Leo was a little surprised. But I think of the celestial spirit's long-term life in the human world mentioned in Leo's small universe moves. It seems that this is also normal? The number of magic particles here is so huge that they can even transform me into celestial spirit magic. It seems that I need to use this opportunity to master the method of staying in the world for a long time as soon as possible. Leo quickly made the next training plan. But when he wanted to start practicing, Yukino walked over with a pile of history books. Leo, when you return to the celestial spirit world, can you help me ask Father Crux something? Chapter 72. Invitation from the royal family. Outskirts of the evil ancient forest. Soluo stood on a giant tree and stared at the battle that had been unfolding not far away. That was the battle between Elfman and Gajeel. Different from the other members, because the abilities they both practice are physical skills. So when we practice together for the first time, I naturally want to learn from each other. At this time Alphion had already opened the third student gate of the 8-gate Dungia, his body was surrounded by green light, and his speed was as fast as lightning. Gajeel is a steel pattern whose whole body is plunged into pitch black, and the magical power in the body and the power of steel origin are constantly running. Although he could not capture Elfman's movements, but his fighting style is extremely brutal. Often deliberately let Elfman attack, and then seize the opportunity to fight back against the opponent. This kind of injury-for-injury tactic can only be played by Gajeel, whose whole body becomes extremely strong after entering the steel mode. Although Elfman joined the guild earlier than Gajeel, but if calculated according to the training time, Elfman is still not as good as Gajeel. Soluo watched the game quietly, and at the same time observed the August 17 and felt that Elfman had gradually fallen into a disadvantage. Like Mirajane, Elfman is a child who has been practicing for about a month. Even compared to Mirajane, who has a soul of Satan in his body, Elfman has nothing. Gajeel is a child who was brought up by Iron Dragon since he was a child, and has practiced Iron Dragon Slayer magic early. So in the innate conditions, Gajeel occupies a great advantage. If it hadn't been for the effect of 8-door Dungia to be too powerful, Elfman would have already lost. However, since Elfman practiced, in less than a month, he was able to open the 8-door Dungia to the third door, which was beyond Soluo's expectations. It's a pity that Gajeel's Iron Dragon Slayer magic is exerted even more terrifying power under the blessing of the steel origin. It seems that in this battle, Elfman is still. The voice stopped abruptly, and Soluo looked at Elfman's eyes, revealing a hint of surprise. I was a member of the Phoenix Guild earlier, how could I lose to this new member? The fourth door of the 8-door Dungia, the wound door, open it. Elfman exhaled into a mist, and the magic in his body broke through the restriction of the position of the door. In just an instant, part of his body was strained, and there were bursts of intense pain in his skin, muscles, and bones. But correspondingly, Elfman's speed and strength are also stronger than before. Elfman rushed to Garud as if teleporting. Under Gajeel's surprised expression, Elfman blasted him out with a punch. Boom! After knocking down dozens of giant trees, Gajeel's flying body finally stopped. Cough! With a light cough and a mouthful of blood, Gajeel's eyes were full of disbelief. He couldn't understand why Elfman could not break his defenses just now, why could he suddenly become so cruel? On the other side, Soluo was also surprised. Unexpectedly, Elfman would break through temporarily and open the fourth door of the 8-door Dungia. Oh, Elfman has initially mastered the fourth door of the 8-gate Dungia, the wounded door. Congratulations to the host for mastering the fourth door of the 8-gate Dungia, the wounded door. With the sound of the system falling, Soluo also thoroughly grasped how to open the wound door. Unlike Elfman, when Soluo opens the 8-door Dungia, the side effects he suffers will be much lower. As a result, his physique is far stronger than Elfman. Another point is that during synchronization, the system will optimize again and remove some defects. Unlike Elfman's immature mastering method, Soul Luo will be the most perfect level after mastering it simultaneously. In this battle, Elfman won. But Garud, don't be discouraged. After all, you have just joined the club. If you practice hard, your strength will be greatly improved. As long as you work hard enough, it is possible to defeat anyone. Soul Luo jumped from the tree, stretched out his hands, turned into a dark energy arm and grabbed Gajeel and Elfman. He started to use the demon's destroying magic to heal their injuries, and he spoke at the same time. If you work hard enough, is it possible to defeat anyone? Gajeel's eyes became firmer when he heard the words. He decided that he must practice harder in the future. Defeat Elfman first, then defeat the rest of the guild, and then there is a big goal he set up recently, Rice. Also Dragon Slayer. After Rice returned to the guild, Gajeel used his sensitive nose to spot Rice. After learning that Lays is the Dragon Slayer of the spirit, Gajeel directly challenged him, wanting to see whether Lays is qualified to be his predecessor. The result is obvious, Lays is not only qualified, but too qualified. This iron baby was easily knocked down by Lays. Okay, let's go back first. You are different from others, you can't get a big increase in the magic tower in the practice of body art. So this process will be more difficult, and you must also keep in mind the combination of work and rest. Soul Luo's words are earnest and enlightened. The core direction of the magic tower is magic and perception, not physical skills. In this aspect of physique, it is necessary to exercise over time and strengthen the physique in order to exert the effect of breaking the 10,000 laws with one force. Therefore, the path of Elfman and Gajeel is more difficult than other guild members. Just as Soul Luo was about to get up and leave, the voice of the system rang in his ears again. Ding! Lysina has initially mastered the fairy mode without hindering the transformation of magic power. Congratulations to the host for mastering the fairy mode without hindering the transformation of magic power. Has Lysina also made a breakthrough? Soul Luo couldn't help feeling happy in his heart, and at the same time he noticed that the magical particles around him were constantly squeezing into his body. And in an instant, it transformed into his magic power. Moreover, during this process, Soul Luo did not enter the meditation practice mode, just an ordinary state. This means that as long as there are magical particles in the space he is in, then the magic power in his body will recover extremely quickly at all times, comparable to infinite magic. The first three members of the Phoenix Guild, Elfman and Lysina, made breakthroughs one after another. The former requires physical exercise, so it will take a long time for Bayman Dungia to break through. The latter is to perceive nature, which can be realized in the magic tower, so Lysina can master the second ability of the fairy mode in a short time. As for Mirajane, the other party still lacks something. That is the qualitative change of magic. Some time ago, Mirajane exchanged 10 magic sublimation crystals through the guild store. Although 10 magical sublimation crystals have greatly improved the quality of her magical power. But if I want to talk about the change further, it's still a little worse. But as long as she breaks through, the magic in her body will change qualitatively. At that time, Mirajane, the moment to master Susa's semi-mature body. Back to the Phoenix Guild, the sky is already sunset. Because in the guild, the highly difficult commissioned task is S-level. Before becoming an S-rank wizard, even Lays could not take it. The difficulty of the remaining entrusted tasks is quite satisfactory. Therefore, when Lays was not interested, he chose to take the initiative to take over Soul Luo's work and deal with the related tasks with some clients. In the guild hall at this time, everyone was enjoying dinner amidst laughter and laughter. Seeing the guild getting more and more enthusiastic, Soul Luo also felt very comfortable. In leisure, a magic homing pigeon flew over from outside the door. President Soul Luo, here is a letter from you. 47. Another letter? Soul Luo raised his eyebrows, opened the letter, and soon saw the content on the letter paper. This is a letter from Rockers, the capital of the Kingdom of Fiori. However, the writer is Agni who guards Nag Town, the commander of the Third Army of the Kingdom of Fiori. The purpose of this letter from Agni is very simple, that is, to invite all the members of the Phoenix Guild, including Soul Luo, to visit Hwajiku Rockers together as a guest. And this is not a unilateral invitation from Agni, it is an invitation from the royal family. Agni just conveyed it on his behalf. The reason why the Phoenix Guild was invited was mainly because of the celebration banquet held by the royal family. The victory of the Nag War not only protected the Kingdom of Fiori. It also makes the people in the Kingdom of Fiori feel extremely proud of having such a powerful wizard in their country. So in order to thank Soul Luo, many wizards who participated in the NEG war and made contributions. The royal family of the Kingdom of Fiori, in response to the calls of the people, specially held a celebration banquet and sent an invitation to the Phoenix Guild. Chapter 73. Forced supervision of the arrival of the troops. The late celebration feast. It seems that the royal family has also spent a lot of effort to deal with the corpses of the monsters in Neg Town. Soluo quickly understood why it took several days for the royal family to send an invitation to this banquet. In the previous NEG war, just the Phoenix Guild slaughtered nearly 300,000 beasts, plus other wizards, and the power of the Third Legion. The number of monsters piled into mountains at that time had already exceeded 1 million. The number of dead beasts reached such a terrifying level, the royal family naturally had to deal with them in the first time. Otherwise, the appearance of the plague is a trivial matter. If it attracts the legendary dragon, then it is the most dangerous thing. The black dragon Acnologia, whose whereabouts are erratic, has always been on the continent of Ishgar. The number of times that the opponent appears directly in front of humans is rare, but almost every time it is related to a large-scale magical explosion. There are millions of monsters, thousands of wizards, and strategic magic weapons containing destructive powers in the NEG war. The battle lasted very short, but the magic bombed out was countless. Therefore, it is normal for the royal family to have concerns. According to what Agni said, in addition to the Phoenix Guild, other guilds and wizards in the northern region may also go there. It seems that the friendship exchange with Fairy Tale Guild will be delayed for a while, but Makarov should be able to understand it. This celebration banquet came a bit suddenly, but the impact on Soluo was not great. The only surprise was that the visit to the Fairy Tale Guild would be delayed for a while. Because the time of the celebration banquet was 4 days later, it was very close to the time of visiting Fairy Tale Guild. In addition, according to normal circumstances, the highest standard of banquet held by the royal family, it will take at least 3 days and 3 nights to end. But this time the invitation, Fairy Tale Guild will also go. So it doesn't matter. After 11 o'clock in the evening, Soluo received another letter. This time the sender is Naito. He has already established a good relationship with the council headquarters, and gave the relevant information of Grimoire Heart's stronghold to 10 members. Regarding this incident, the 10 congressmen were very shocked and decided to send troops to destroy the Grimoire Heart stronghold. At this time, the Congress headquarters had dispatched magic airships and forced supervision troops to embark on the route to Tank City. Not surprisingly, people from the council will arrive near Tank City at noon tomorrow. At that time, after docking with the local council minister, that is, Naito, the council's army will come to the Phoenix Guild. As for the purpose, naturally, let race act as a guide to destroy Grimoire Heart's stronghold. Naito's reporting speed, as well as the efficiency of the council, are surprisingly fast. But this is also in line with Soluo's wishes. After all, Lays had wiped out Grimoire Heart tens of thousands of people some time ago, and it is impossible for the other party to be defenseless. So in order to prevent the Avatar, and the black wizards of other dark guilds under Grimoire Heart from running ahead of time, the action this time, naturally, the sooner the better. 2 o'clock in the afternoon the next day, several huge magical airships arrived in Tank City. After stopping in the temporarily opened square, a group of members wearing white robes and carrying magic long swords around their waists walked towards the Phoenix Guild. They are the armed forces of the council, forcibly supervising the troops. As for the captain of this force, it is Rahal, who has emerged from a young age and is known for his wisdom and strategy. Chairman Soluo, this visit is mainly about the Grimoire Heart stronghold incident. I believe you also want to resolve this incident as soon as possible, so we need you to send your guild member Lays as our guide. Rahal had an upright attitude and said in front of Soluo neither humble nor humble. But his heart is very restless. Because he could sense that the magical pressure that Soluo faintly revealed in his body was far more amazing than the top 10 holy wizards he had ever seen. Even if it is ranked 5th, Makarov, who is closest to the 4 heavenly kings of Ishgar, is not as scary as Soluo. This surprised Rahal. I always feel that the council headquarters paid too little attention to the president of the Phoenix Guild. If you discover Soluo's strength in advance. So during this period of time, the 10 members of the council will not fight for Soluo to be the top 10 magical directors. Lays, go ahead. Soluo nodded to Rahal, then gestured to Lays next to him. Thank you for your cooperation. If you can find the Grimoire Heart stronghold, destroy it and arrest the relevant personnel. Then the members of the council will also give thanks. Rahal bowed slightly to thank Soluo and Lays. Turning around, Rahal brought many subordinates back to the magic airship. Huawei. As the engine of the enchanted airship was launched, the supervising troops forcibly followed the spot pointed out by Lays and headed directly. This time, if the stronghold of Grimoire Heart is eliminated, maybe Hades will be mad? The opponent's strength is not weaker than the 4 heavenly kings, and even stronger than Warod. After all, he has been pressing Warod since he was young. Before he bites people madly, I have to know the real name of Ju. Watching the enchanted airship leave, Soluo's gaze fell on the Zanpaku knife beside him. The sole communication during this period of time, he already knows half of the name of this Zanpo Deo. That is 2. As for the other half, Zanpo Deo Ling was still reluctant to say it. It seems that the time has not come, or a certain condition is lacking. However, with Soluo's perseverance, the sword spirit of Zanpo Deo began to let go. Although Soluo currently possesses Saint 10 level magic power, as well as many super powerful methods. But if you can know the real name of Zanpaku Deo, you can master the power of the original solution. Then next time he meets Hades's body, he will have a greater certainty to defeat the opponent. The most western part of the kingdom of Fiori, an island standing on the sea. Unlike other islands, this island is covered by dense fog all the year round, and there are often low roars like horse beasts. Therefore, even if it feels that the island is hiding a big secret, the passing wizards dare not step into it. Until today, more than a dozen magical airships, all the way from the sky to the west, arrived over the island. 827 Is that this place? Why no one will report such a weird island? Rahal frowned slightly. It stands to reason that the appearance of such a strange island on the sea would have been exposed by the locals a long time ago. But the reality is often so bizarre, let alone the council, even the soldiers stationed in the coastal town more than 10 kilometers apart have never heard of this island. This island has been planted with a variety of large magic circles. The fog will mislead people's senses, and the roar will confuse people's memories. The ability to set up these magic circles shows that this is not only the stronghold of Grimoire Heart, but also of great significance to them. Race quickly discovered the difference in this island through his strong perception ability. You surround the neighborhood first, and after I disperse the dense fog and fight the enemy, you can take action according to the situation. Race walked to the front of Rahal and proposed. This time the council dispatched these dozen or so magical airships, and they have deployed a number of devastating and powerful magical artillery. But they should not take the lead. Only when the fog is eliminated can they give full play to their advantages. Thank you. Rahal nodded. With Rice combat power, it is indeed very suitable for surprise attacks. After the dense fog is dispelled, they can mobilize the magical artillery on the magical airship to carry out precise strikes on the enemies on the island. Then you just wait first. Race leaped into the air and jumped into the island shrouded in dense fog. At the same time, the Zanpaku knife in his hand also bloomed with a strange white light. Chapter 74. Race's beginning solution. On the island shrouded in dense fog, one by one, the black wizards wearing black robes and masks were running hurriedly. Move faster. Master Altair has sent information. The mad dogs of the Phoenix Guild and the Council are about to come. Transfer all the materials to the submarine, give up the land and sea channels, and go directly to the 9th cave. A commander urges thought power magic to pass his own words into the mind of every black wizard. This kind of magic can directly transfer words into the mind of the designated target, which can effectively avoid being eavesdropped by others. And it can convey information to the minds of thousands of dark wizards at once. The strength of this commander can be seen. Leisurely, the commander's face changed drastically, and his eyes looked upwards. Over the island covered by dense fog, a strange white light flashed by. Whale, Ling Wu. With a whisper sounded, terrifying magic suddenly erupted from the sky above the island, sweeping the entire island like a violent wind. In an instant, the mist magic circle and the sound magic circle shattered, and the brilliance of the scorching sun began to spill on this dark island all year round. This is a coral island with many bones and strange plants. At the same time, there are thousands of black wizards, carrying many material boxes, and constantly running to the small island in the center of the island. The small lake in the center of the island is like a channel leading directly to the sea. Hundreds of submarines submerged into the bottom of the lake and shuttled towards hundreds of caves. These caves have many different branch channels, but the final location points to 30 different directions. It seems this is indeed a stronghold where Grimoire Heart has been operating for many years. Even the escape routes are surprisingly numerous. At this time, Lays was covered with white bones, and pieces of bones formed an incomplete set of armor outside his body. Every bone wailed the wailing of the dead souls. This is the structure of genuine souls. This is the initial solution form of Lays Zanpaku. Every life killed will plunder the opponent's soul, which is used to supplement the integrity of the skeletal armor. As the skeleton armor becomes more complete, his soul magic will become stronger. At the same time, Lays was still holding a scythe in his hand, and the wailing of the beast soul came from everywhere on the sickle. Once hit by this black scythe, the opponent will suffer intense soul pain, and even the soul may be cut apart. The soul is used to construct the battle armor of bones, and the beast soul is used to construct the death sickle. This guy is from the Phoenix Guild. The opponent is just alone, attack. The commander felt a suffocation when he noticed the horror on race. Even if the opponent is not as good as Hades-sama, he is definitely above 7 kin of purgatory. This made him dare not take it lightly, and directly caused all the black wizards present to attack. It's a pity that the commander never knows that Lays' best attack is a group attack at the soul level. It took less than an hour to eliminate tens of thousands of black wizards before. Spirit Skeleton 10,000 Beast Slash. Race waved his scythe, and countless different forms of beast souls came out of the nest. The number was tens of thousands. These beast souls were all collected and accumulated by him in the NEG war. Originally, Lays was going to keep it, and later it was used to activate the reincarnation of Dragon Slayer Upanishad and Dragon Soul. But after mastering the initial solution mode of Zanpaku Nifling Wu, he found that after incorporating the beast soul into the scythe, he could exert a stronger lethality. The same is true for human souls. Although they are not as lethal as beast souls, they have many unexpected effects. What the hell is this? Yubbing. I can't control that much. Dance of the Red Flame. Water Shadow Pressure Gun. The appearance of tens of thousands of beast souls made all the black wizards shudder. But even under such circumstances of life and death, it also triggered their strong desire to survive. In an instant, thousands of magics continued to fly in midair, welcoming the beast soul. However, a strange scene appeared. When those magic attacked the beast soul, it was as if they were hit in a phantom, passing directly through those figures, without causing any damage. Only a very small number of black wizards who master soul magic can harm a part of beast souls. The true soul magic is so cruel. The soul magic launched by ordinary people can only affect the souls of a few people, and it is also easy to be interrupted by physical attacks. Because those magicians, such as Big Slow, rely on puppets as a medium to activate soul magic. But Lazy is different. He who devours the spirit dragon and masters the spirit's dragon slaying magic, activates all soul magic without relying on any medium. This also led to the fact that only soul magic can affect his attacks. Like the reappearance of the monsters of the NEG war, thousands of beast souls rushed to the black sorcerer, biting their souls. At the same time, Lays also transformed the souls of those black wizards into his own power in an instant. The black wizards who were transformed and lost their souls fell on the ground one after another like vegetative bodies. Seeing this scene, the only commander who could be considered a relatively powerful jumped into the water decisively. The heartbeat keeps accelerating, and the fear in his heart can hardly be suppressed. After living so long, it was the first time he saw such a weird and powerful wizard. The soul magic of the other party is really weird. At this moment, the commander just wants to escape here quickly, even if there are many precious materials on the island. Even if he will be punished by Hades after escaping this time, he can't take care of that much. The most important thing is to survive first. Witnessing the opponent's actions, Lays did not continue pursuing. Because he has attached a very special soul to the depths of the opponent's soul without the commander's awareness of the situation. Following the commander's escape route, he might be able to explore the location of the heart of the demon. Lays has never forgotten that for this stronghold, Sol Luo's order was to obtain more information from Grimoire Heart as much as possible. The best result is to be able to find the location of Grimoire Heart. After all these years under the management of Hades, there are hundreds of dark guilds in the magic world, which have become affiliated guilds of Grimoire Heart. The hundreds of dark guilds alone make it difficult for the council to find all of them. It is even more difficult to find out where Grimoire Heart is. Therefore, if you can find more information about Grimoire Heart, good money, through this commander, and even the position of the headquarters. That Leith's trip was really rewarding. At the same time, Rahal and others standing on the magical airship showed a dumbfounded expression. They thought that processing Grimoire Heart's stronghold this time would require a high price to win, even after a bitter battle. But they didn't expect Lay's combat power to be so terrifying. One person is an army. Moreover, these beast souls seem to be stronger than the ghost soldiers controlled by one of the top 10 magic masters, Jose. In the NEG war, this wizard named Race was only the second-ranked existence in the Phoenix Guild who contributed to killing monsters. Even he is so strong, so how strong is Sol Luo as the president? Rahul only felt terrified when thinking carefully, and felt a tingling scalp. He was totally afraid to continue to imagine. The 10 members of the council really underestimate the Phoenix Guild. Chapter 75. The confidence of the strongest dark guild. Converging his mind, Rahul took a deep breath and decisively gave instructions. Since this stronghold, many black wizards fled by submarine, it is difficult to catch up at present. Then, next, they have to deal with the thousands of black wizards who lost their souls. In addition, all the precious materials left on the island were brought back to the council. In this process, Lays also conveniently collected some of the most precious materials. He was very interested in the guild store that the guild had just launched during this time. Even if there are many things currently appearing in the guild store, they are not very helpful to him. However, he still wants to change some medicines that can restore his injuries and magical powers. This world is developing very powerfully on the road of magic. But in terms of pharmacy, it is much worse than the magic weapons on the technological side. Even the sorcerer needs to recover slowly in the hospital if he wants to recover from his injury. Therefore, in the guild store, the potions that can restore injuries and magic power are extremely precious. Especially in the battle of life and death, the existence of medicine is equivalent to the second life. Therefore, Lays 843 is going to store more potions, so as not to be able to turn over in case of danger. This raid mission lasted several hours before it was completed. Rahul knew that Leith took away the most precious batch of supplies, but did not say much. After all, this can be regarded as hard work, and the council can get the remaining materials, it can be said that there is more Lays. Therefore, Lahar would naturally not be unhappy in this kind of thing. What's more, the Phoenix Guild is so strong, he still wants to find a chance to get closer. Mr. Race, due to the great impact of this incident, we have to return early. So we can't escort you for the next part of the journey. Please forgive me. On the magic airship filled with countless materials and the corpses of the Black Wizard, Rahul said apologetically to Lays. Fine. Race said concisely, and then burst out the magic power in his body, like an arrow from the string, and flew towards Tank City. The magic airship was loaded with too many things, and the speed of the flight dropped severely. Coupled with the fact that the council headquarters is far away from Tank City, if he continues to stay on the magical airship, Lays may have to wait for several days before returning. He didn't waste that time. After all, his own small means have been deployed, and he can draw the opponent's action map based on the movement path of the Grimoire Heart Guild commander. On the other hand, the Phoenix Guild will go to Fairy Tale Guild soon, which is what Lays is looking forward to. The fairy tale has no impression, but it feels very familiar. Do I have anything to do with this guild before I die? During the flight, Lays was puzzled. His only memory is to devour the spirit dragon and become the 5th-generation dragon slayer. And wandering in the mainland of Ishgar for decades, until I met Sol Luo, there was no chance of regaining my life. He had no impression of all the experiences that took place before his death. Only when I heard Fairy Tale Guild, my heart was slightly touched. Although I have been alive again, I want to know what exactly happened before my death. I used to, what kind of person was it? What was it that I died? Fairy Tale, I hope you can let me find these answers. Lays quickly constructed a pair of wings behind him, and flew to Tank City at top speed. He didn't have such a method. But after refining the souls of many dark wizards before, he accidentally found wing magic to release this flying ability. Chet. The stronghold has been destroyed, and there are still a lot of supplies that haven't had time to take away. It seems that Master Hades is going to be angry again this time. Just after Lays and the others left the island, a woman wearing a mask on a sea dozens of kilometers away looked at the screen of the orb in her hand, and there was a hint of playfulness in her words. The screen of this orb is like what Race, Rahul, and others did on the island of Grimoire Heart Stronghold. Tank City, Phoenix Guild. It took 3 full days for Lays to return to the guild. This is mainly the stronghold of Grimoire Heart, which is too remote. Even if the city of Tangkei is located in the northwestern region of the Kingdom of Fiori, Lays had set foot on the magical airship of the council and it took 2 days to arrive. Being able to travel back to the Phoenix Guild across thousands of kilometers in 3 days, Lays' speed is also extremely fast. After returning to the guild, Lays did not rest, but directly began to draw a map on the desktop. This is Grimoire Heart, the distribution map of many strongholds in the Kingdom of Fiori, and even the entire continent of Ishugar. This was detected by Lays using the special abilities of his own soul, and then through the trajectory of the former commander who had fled in the past few days, as well as some people he had contacted. The Heart of the Devil deserves to be the strongest dark guild. There are too many escape channels arranged. It is no wonder that the council has not been able to find any clues about the other side for so many years. Soluo looked at the big and small red dots on the map and couldn't help but sigh. Through this map, you can find that Grimoire Heart has more than 70 strongholds in the Kingdom of Fiori alone. These strongholds may only be handover channels, and are not at the same level as the strongholds that Lays had previously swept away with the council. But even so, it can be seen that Grimoire Heart has many methods. In addition to the Kingdom of Fiori, there are more strongholds in other areas of the continent of Ishgar. Grimoire Heart can be called the strongest dark guild at present, except for the powerful and the terrifying combat power of Hades itself. More importantly, there are too many strongholds in the mainland of Ishgar. These can be regarded as strategic strongholds. If it weren't for Hades, he was dedicated to pursuing the so-called big magical world. Relying on these stronghold channels and Grimoire Heart's forces, it is not a problem for the other party to slaughter a kingdom. It's no wonder that he has slaughtered more than a dozen cities in these years, and he still sits back and relaxes. In contrast, Oration Cease, who is also the Balam Alliance, is simply a jumping clown. Even if it has penetrated into the largest church, Sendobia, it cannot be compared with Grimoire Heart. Chapter 76. Special Curse, Demon Incarnation. Lays, I have worked hard for you this time. Although this map drawn by Lays, many strongholds of Grimoire Heart have been found. But still unable to find the Grimoire Heart headquarters. But for Soluo, this is already a huge gain. If this precious piece of information is handed over to the council, then there will be no more suspense about Soluo becoming the top 10 wizards of the sacred. But Soluo is not ready to hand it in directly. This credit is too great to be put on him alone, which is a bit of a waste. Because in his current situation, he is a 10 wizard saints. So Soluo was going to hand it over to Naito first, and let the guy go to help with the operation. By then, based on the value of this information, Soluo can basically secure a 10 wizard saints quota. And Naito can also rely on this, with a high probability of becoming a member of parliament. Once Naito became a member of parliament, with the connection between him and the Phoenix Guild, Soluo will also have more room to manipulate many things. Although the council has given 10 members the power, it cannot dominate the entire continent of Ishgar. But their power is still beyond the imagination of many people. As long as every member of parliament comes to any kingdom, he will be highly valued by the royal family. President, it's all within my responsibilities. In addition, I want to turn these things into the guild. Ray's attitude was as flat as ever, and then he took out the harvest of this action. Let me see, the deep sea magic mine, the remnant roots of the magic tree, the extremely cold crystal. Race did not give much, but it was very precious. Its value is even above the walker ore. This surprised Soluo, and at the same time realized for the first time how rich Hades is. If you can find the headquarters of Grimoire Heart, carry out a wave of friendly cleaning. At that time, let alone the magic airship, even Uranus and Soluo feel that they can be built. And a lot of frames have been built. After judging the specific value of these items, Soluo gave Lays a lot of contribution value. The other party was also very decisive, and directly exchanged a batch of potions to restore his injuries and magical powers. Next, inform Mirajane and them that we should go to Hawajika Rockers. After handing the potion to Lay's hand, Soluo ordered again. The celebration banquet hosted by the royal family will be held tomorrow. With the geographical location of Tank City, they set off now and boarded the magic train later, and they are estimated to be able to arrive tomorrow morning. Before long, Mirajane and others gathered in the guild hall. As soon as I heard that I was going to the capital of the Kingdom of Fiori, the Ku Rockers, known as the capital of 100 flowers. Mirajane and others are very excited and looking forward to it. Even Naya, who is more withdrawn, has some interest. At the same time, Gajil and Elfman, wearing 2 large backpacks, also came back from outside. Crack! Gajeel bit down the dark iron ore with a satisfied expression. Gajeel, don't eat up Walker's veins. The development of the guild still needs to reserve a lot of Walker's ore. Sol Luo's eyes twitched, and he spoke helplessly. Some time ago he sent Elfman and Gajeel to the Hungduan Mountains, with the purpose of digging out all the Walker ore from the Walker vein. Walker ore is a very important strategic material. After Mirajane discovered Walker's ore vein, Sol Luo did not disclose it except for his own people in the guild. Even Makarov, he did not tell. What Sol Luo wanted was to hollow out the Walker vein before others found it. Gajeel masters the Iron Dragon Slayer magic and has a very keen perception of this metal mineral. Elfman is also physically fit. Sending them out, Sol Luo is to accurately dig out Walker ore and move it back quickly. Everything started well, until Gajeel bit down Walker's ore and he became addicted. For him, this thing is 100 times more delicious than the iron ore that he has eaten before, and it can quickly increase the magic power in his body. So in the process of digging, Gajeel also ate hundreds of kilograms of Walker ore. Don't worry, President, what I eat can be directly deducted from my remuneration, and it won't affect the guild. And the storage capacity of that vein is amazing, at least dozens of tons. 4 flowers. According to our current progress, it is estimated that it will take more than 10 days to continue digging before they can all be transported back. After speaking, Gajeel swallowed the Walker ore on his hand directly, and the magic power in his body was also increased to a certain extent. This is one of the advantages of Dragon Slayer, it can swallow things with the same attributes unscrupulously. Walker ore contains rich magical power, which is a treasure bred by nature. So after Gajeel swallowed, it can directly bring about the increase of magic power. The guild's estimated reserves are 50 tons. I hope that you will stop eating until this standard is reached. After you reach the standard, you will get paid later. I don't want to worry about which way you want to use it. Seeing Gajeel's indifferent expression, Sol Luo said nothing. The cost of Uranus is not cheap, just a single one will cost tens of billions. If you want to make Uranus based on Walker ore, Sol Luo estimated that one would need 5 tons of Walker ore. This is only a standard for designated materials, and other rarer resources are needed. So Sol Luo doesn't plan to build too many Uranus, the budget is 8 Uranus. The 50-ton standard is also to leave 10 tons of supplies for maintenance. Okay, get ready, go to Kur Rockers. Take the big backpacks on Gajeel and Elfman's shoulders and put them behind the guild storage room. Sol Luo took everyone to the train station. At the same time, in the case that no one noticed it, a figure appeared quietly from behind Sol Luo, and walked into the guild hall. The appearance of this figure is exactly the same as Sol Luo, but the aura is a bit weird, half malicious and half murderous. This is the second use of the special magic demon avatar, constructing a demon avatar, possessing part of the magic power in Sol Luo's body. Although Sol Luo did not feel that in the presence of the Crimson Bird Soul, someone who sneaked into the Phoenix Guild would be able to leave safely. But the necessary precautions are still necessary, so he left this demon incarnation. End. Chapter 77. Jalal's Thinking Body. Early the next morning. The train station was crowded, Sol Luo took all the guild members and arrived at Ku Rockers. Known as the flower capital of Rockers, no matter where it is on the street, there are many different varieties of flowers. Although the scents of these flowers are different, but when mixed together, people feel a different sense of freshness. As the capital of the kingdom of Fiori, it has the most traffic and is also the city with the most wizards. Along the way, the magic circus on both sides of the street was unexpected, making the city more lively. Brother Sol Luo, can we go shopping by ourselves? Mirajane looked at the bustling street with a longing look in her eyes. She pulled Yukino, Lisana, Naya, and a group of girls, and asked Sol Luo. Go ahead, but this is not Tank City, don't pick things up. In addition, the banquet will be held in the evening August 5-3. Remember to go to the meeting point when that time comes. Sol Luo waved his hand, reassuring the safety of Mirajane and others. Just kidding, with Mirajane's strength, who would dare to provoke her? As soon as she sent a shock wave, she could smash the whole street in an instant. Unless there is a level 5 wizard and above, don't even think of getting a good end from Mirajane. Okay, let's go first. Mirajane waved her hand excitedly, leading a group of girls into the crowd. You can go if you want to play, but Elfman, you have to be optimistic about Gajeel, don't make trouble. At the same time, Sol Luo saw that Elfman and Gajeel were also ready to move, and let them move freely. However, Gajeel is still a top iron baby. Although he is not as good as Natsu, his ability to do things is also strong. So Sol Luo exhorted Elfman more. Don't worry, I will definitely look after him. Elfman nodded solemnly, and then took Gajeel, who was dissatisfied, and left here. Let's go, and say hello to the others first. Seeing that Lays had no interest in wandering, Sol Luo took him to the meeting point. At the same time, in a tall building thousands of meters away, two figures stood by the window and stared at Sol Luo. The President Sol Luo is here. It is true that even Makarov would praise him. Looking at him from a distance, I felt a little palpitating. Zikrain with short blue hair and tattoos on his right face was shaking uncontrollably. But his look was very excited. It seems to see something interesting. Although Tower of Heaven is almost complete, the most critical step is to get into the council and look for an opportunity to activate the magic power. Jalal, this Sol Luo is our prime enemy. Altair, who was standing by, had an elegant arc at the corner of his mouth. Remember, I am Zikrain, and Jalal is just my brother. Zyklin shook his head slightly, and once again emphasized his current identity to Altair. He is indeed Jalal's thinking body, but it is not appropriate to reveal that he is the thinking body at the moment. After all, he still wanted to mix into the council and become a member of the council as Zikrain's identity. Of course, if you can take the position of the Saint 10 magic guide by the way, you can, at least it will be more convenient for the next action. It's my fault, Master Zikrain. Altair changed his mouth indifferently, with a hint of playful tone. Let's go. There are several old men in the council who are about to retire. It's time for us to take some action. With a smirk on his face, Chi Klein quickly walked out of the room. Altair also turned around. But suddenly she turned her head and looked at Sol Luo more, the corners of her mouth couldn't stop frantically rising. Sol Luo, originally thought you were a sane person, but didn't expect you to be so reckless to destroy the stronghold that Master Hades valued most. Next, your Phoenix Guild will usher in the most terrifying disaster. Altair muttered to himself, a trace of contempt in his eyes. In her opinion, the development of the Phoenix Guild is indeed very rapid, and even the President Sol Luo is a terrifying existence. However, the opponent provoked Grimoire Heart twice in a short time. Now, even if it's Lord Hades, you have to use all your strength to destroy the opponent, right? Finally appeared Sol Luo. In a dark corner of Ku Rockers, a man in a black robe appeared. His face is almost fused with the darkness, and he can't see his appearance, but he can recognize his gender through his voice. The Dragon Age will definitely come back again, and I will never lose to you this time. Wait Sol Luo, I will find that place soon. Once I find it there, this world will enter its final moment, and the ancient Dragon Age will come back to the world. The man made a low hoarse sound, his eyes hidden in the dark, looked at Sol Luo's figure, full of hatred. Xiaohong, I found you. Suddenly, a little boy ran from the corner with an excited smile on his face. He has already begun to fantasize that he can become the winner of hide and seek this time, and become the most powerful kid king in this street. But after he looked around, he found that there was nothing but a dog barking. Is it because I heard it wrong? There were other voices just now. The little boy couldn't grasp his head, but he didn't think much, and soon left here. After he left, a dark shadow flashed across the dim corner of the wall. It seems that this invitation, things are not as simple as imagined. On the street, Sol Luo walked in front of Lays, looking at the bustling city with a smile on his face, but his heart was as cold as winter. Less than 3 minutes after he stepped into the library, Rocker noticed malicious gazes from 2 different places. In addition, there are many different eyes, cast from the dark 4. 7. Either worship or disdain or full of murderous intent. After thinking about it carefully, it seems that the Phoenix Guild has only offended Grimoire Heart. But the actual situation is not so simple. The Phoenix Guild is so famous that it has already made many people a little jealous. Although I don't know who other than Grimoire Heart will target the Phoenix Guild. But Sol Luo did not have the slightest timidity. The essence of the world is still the last word. President. Lays was also vaguely aware of something behind him. But before he finished speaking, he was interrupted by Sol Luo. Let's go, it's just a group of rats hiding in the dark, there is nothing to worry about. They dare to take the lead, so they should be worried. Chapter 78. Race past. Diplomatic Palace. This is the meeting point for all banquet guests. At this time, many dancers were dancing in the palace, and some wizards were invited to dance on the dance floor. There are many white tables and chairs arranged around the dance hall. When Sol Luo arrived, many people were already seated. First, after greeted the many small guild leaders who approached him, Sol Luo took Lays to the place where Makarov was. Makarov's location is on the side of the dance hall, and the table is full of his old friends. They are Goldmine, the president of Quattro Cerberus, Bob, the president of Blue Pegasus. In addition, there are part of the wizards of these three guilds, all located here. Sol Luo saw Urza from Fairy Tale, Pascal from Quattro Cerberus, and Blue Pegasus. They are all wizards who have participated in the NEG war, and will naturally attend. As for other members, they may also come, but Sol Luo always feels that Natsu's Destruction King should not be called by Makarov. It's finally here, President Sol Luo. Is this President Sol Luo? I've heard about it for a long time, and it turned out to be a young hero today. Oops, President Sol Luo really touched my little heart, it's so handsome. Makarov and others greeted Sol Luo enthusiastically when they saw Sol Luo coming. Sol Luo also responded with a smile, but Bob's eyes made him a little bit overwhelmed. Obviously, when he was young, he was also a rare handsome guy. What happened to him that made him like this? By the way, let me introduce to you, this is Goldmine, the president of Quattro Cerberus, and Bob, the president of Blue Pegasus. Makarov pointed to Goldmine and Bob respectively, and introduced them to Sol Luo one by one. Happy to see you all. I am Sol Luo, the president of the Phoenix Guild, and this is a member of our guild, Lays. Sol Luo turned sideways and introduced Rice to Goldmine and Bob. And they also warmly welcomed Lays. It's just that the eyes of Goldmine and Bob flashed a hint of horror and doubt. Because in the impression of Race and them, the one who was seriously injured due to an accident in the mission and died in the end was too much like Race. Especially the other person's young appearance, exactly the same as before, completely the same person. When they looked at Makarov, they nodded silently. President Sol Luo, I want to ask, where did you meet Lays? I don't have any other ideas, mainly Lays, who is so similar to our fairy tale, a long dead member back then. It's exactly like the same person. Makarov took a deep breath, and after hesitating for a while, he still asked the doubts that had been accumulated in his heart for a long time. As early as during the NEG war, he looked at Lays from a distance and vaguely perceives the identity of the opponent. It was just that I had to deal with the tide of monsters, and I was not very familiar with the Phoenix Guild, so I didn't say much. But now, even Goldmine and Bob, who were also members of the Fairy Tale Guild, feel that the Lays in front of them is very similar to the original Lays. This made Makarov a little unbearable. When I met Lays, he was a ghost who has been wandering for decades. Seeing Makarov and the others, Sol Luo knew that they all recognized Lays. But Sol Luo didn't feel anything, and it was exposed. Moreover, as the Phoenix Guild and Fairy Tale Guild continue to contact each other, Lays' identity will be revealed sooner or later. So there is no need to cover up. Anyway, it's not shameful. Actually, when I heard Fairy Tale, I was vaguely familiar. It's just that I lack the memory of my life. The chairman gave me the body so that I can reappear in front of the world. Lays didn't evade, and said frankly. However, he believes that even if he had a great connection with Fairy Tale Guild during his lifetime, he might even be a member of Fairy Tale Guild. But that was just before his death, not the current one. Race now completely considers himself a member of the Phoenix Guild, and naturally will not disturb the reality of his situation just because of a little memory from his lifetime. Sol Luo brought him a lot of hope, and it also gave him a living body and a powerful Zanpakuideo cohesion method. So he thanked Sol Luo from the heart. She vowed to protect the Phoenix Guild forever. After hearing what Li said, Makarov and others were excited. There is no doubt that the other party must have been a member of Fairy Tale Guild before his death, Race. However, Makarov and others are also very clear that Lays, who has relived his life, is already different from that year. He may still be inextricably linked with Fairy Tale Guild, but his identity is already a member of the Phoenix Guild. But even so, Makarov and others are still very happy. So they took Lays and began to chat about his life. Race is also very involved, he also wants to know what kind of person he was before his death. Seeing this scene, Sol Luo did not bother, instead he became a bystander full of interest. At noon, after everyone had a good lunch, the royal family members of the Kingdom of Fiori began to show up. Respect, dear mages, I am Princess Jade of the Kingdom of Fiori. I am very happy to meet you on behalf of the royal family. In the passage inside the palace, a beautiful girl in a gorgeous white dress walked out. At the same time, beside her, there was a paladin chief who armed himself to the teeth, Alcadius. Seeing this scene, everyone present was surprised. Because the Princess Emerald was too young, she was pushed out to host this celebration banquet when she was less than 853 and 18. Many people secretly guess that maybe the king wants the only offspring to come out in advance to experience this grand scene. Feeling that countless lights are thrown on him, Jade is a little nervous. After a slight pause, she mustered up the courage and scanned the entire palace. This celebration banquet was mainly held by us to thank the heroes for protecting the safety of the kingdom and protecting countless people. The emergence of war by Nade came very suddenly. If this group of heroes hadn't come forward, perhaps the kingdom would be in an accident and our lives would suffer a huge blow. For this, on behalf of the royal family, I thank all the heroes who came here. You are the heroes and guardians of our kingdom of Fiori. Jade just a few words, but mobilized the hearts of countless people. Especially those wizards who lived in the northern region and survived the Neg war. When they heard that they were regarded as heroes and guardians, they were moved to tears. As ordinary wizards, they don't have too grandiose dreams, they just want to stand out and spend this life without regrets. After participating in the tragic Neg war, many people were crippled. Originally, they were already heartbroken, but when they were given the honor of heroic guardian, suddenly rejuvenated with new vitality. Chapter 79. Gift from Jose. The Emerald Princess. Just a few words caused the most sensational cheers in the whole show. Many people were so moved that they wept bitterly, shouting the name of the Emerald Princess, expressing their inner excitement. Honor is something that is very rare for many ordinary wizards of ordinary origin. Seeing this scene, Jade was very surprised, but also very happy. Being able to get the recognition of her people is the happiest thing for her as a child of the royal family. After that, Jade gave another impassioned speech, and most of the ordinary wizards' hearts were quietly transformed. The status of Jade in their minds is gradually rising. Seeing this scene, Soluo didn't have any surprises, just watched it all with interest. In the original work, Jade is also a princess loved by the people, and even among the monarchs and ministers, many people are on her side. It can be said that Jadeite is also very talented in this respect. Of course, this is also related to what the contemporary king of the Kingdom of Fiori did. Perhaps when he was young, this was also an ambitious king. But with the passage of time, he is already old and does not want to participate in complicated political affairs, just wanting to have fun in his old age. Because of this, the Jade, the only descendant of the old king, was released at this time. After the speech, Jade left soon after. The climax of this celebration banquet was in the evening, and she is here now, but it is also a hot spot, just brushing her face by the way. With the departure of Jade, in the diplomatic palace, the wizards resumed their previous posture and continued to enjoy the banquet. However, a very small number of people were secretly invited by a group of knights to leave. It's been a long time, how are you doing recently? President Soluo. Walking in the empty passage, Soluo followed a group of knights, and suddenly saw Jose's figure appear in the corner of the wall. Not bad. Soluo couldn't figure out this guy's attitude, so he smiled politely and replied casually. Jose, what do you want to do? On the side, Makarov's expression was slightly condensed. Hehe, what else can you do? It's not just you who are invited, I'm also the one who was invited by the Emerald Princess. Jose didn't care about Makarov's attitude, so he took out a map and handed it to Soluo. I heard that President Soluo was worried because of the lack of resources for the development of the guild. Although I don't know what new things your guild is researching, this little gift can be regarded as a little bit of my heart. I hope that we, the ghosts, can reach a friendship with the Phoenix Guild. Hearing this, Soluo also understood Jose's intentions. In fact, as early as the previous routine meeting, he vaguely noticed that Jose wanted to befriend him. But when he heard Makarov's proposal for social exchanges and was able to enter the library of Fairy Tale Guild, Jose was dissuaded by this condition. After all, the library of Fairy Tale Guild has a high probability of hiding super magic. In contrast, Jose has no inheritance comparable to super magic, so he could only leave with a grey face. But this time, it was obvious that he had some confidence after inquiring about the news. After receiving the map that Jose handed over, Sol Luo's face changed slightly when he saw the production areas of some rare resources marked on it. He originally thought that Gajeel Elfman and ran to dig Walker ore. This matter was done very secretly, and no one should know. Now it seems that he still underestimated the attention of other forces to the Phoenix Guild. Gajeel and Elfman went to the Hungduan Mountains together, which was noticed by the existence of some powerful forces early on. Perhaps they also know that Elfman and Gajeel are digging for the very precious Walker ore. But they all remain silent, obviously not wanting to engage in evil with the Phoenix Guild. Walker ore is indeed very precious, but the Phoenix Guild in the sky already has the potential to chase the strongest wizard guild. To offend the Phoenix Guild for a Walker vein, it is obviously very stupid. Putting aside the development potential of the Phoenix Guild, the current Phoenix Guild alone is already very strong. The Nedger War has proved that Sol Luo, the president of the Phoenix Guild, is definitely not under the Sage 10 Masters. Its member Lays, after entering the Dragon Soul mode, is not weaker than the top 10 magic masters at all. In this situation, no one wants to offend the Phoenix Guild. Even if they are uncomfortable and want to step on their feet on the Phoenix Guild, they dare not show up and offend blatantly. After learning about the Walker ore, Jose quietly prepared a resource map. All the resource production areas on this map are industries under the name of the Spectres Dominator Guild. By doing this, Jose also wanted to climb into the Phoenix Guild. At least in future conflicts with Fairy Tail Guild, Sol Luo will not be able to intervene in their private affairs. Our guild does need a lot of resources for development, and I will accept this generous gift from President Jose. I think we should be able to maintain long-term friendly relations between our two guilds. Sol Luo accepted the map, and the smile on his face became more intense. The contradiction between Jose and Makarov is a private matter between them and has nothing to do with Sol Luo. And this resource map given by Jose contains many resources that are very valuable. Whether you want to build a magical airship, build Uranus, or build other things, these resources are very useful. So Sol Luo naturally would not refuse Jose's kindness. Besides, Jose is also one of the top 10 holy wizards, and the one dominated by ghosts is also one of the strongest wizard guilds. Even though it is not seen by peers, it is more mature than the current Phoenix Guild in many aspects. It is also a good thing to reach friendly contact with each other. Seeing this scene, Makarov remained silent. Although he doesn't deal with Jose, he doesn't have much to say. After all, it is Sol Luo's personal freedom to make friends with anyone. If it is based on the preconceived notion, to advise Sol Luo, on the contrary, there will be subtle cracks in the relationship between the two people, Qian Li Zhao. And objectively speaking, Jose and Makarov have different paths, but being able to develop their own guild into one of the strongest wizard guilds is enough to see the other's ability. After another exchange with Jose, Sol Luo and others soon became quiet. Because they have come to a palace inside the palace, this is where the Emerald Princess privately meets them. If you change to someone else, you may feel very excited, after all, this is an invitation from the princess. But the three people present did not fluctuate. They even wanted to know what the Emerald Princess wanted to do. With such doubts, the three of them quickly stepped into the palace under the reception of the night. You are finally here, I'm sorry I want to communicate with you in this form. The Emerald Princess walked out soon, with a little apology on her face. But more, it is some kind of worry about the terrorist crisis. Chapter 80. People from the future. I don't know what's the important thing about Princess this secret appointment. Seeing the expression of Princess Emerald, Makarov immediately understood that this celebration banquet was probably far less simple than imagined. On the surface, it really seems to be to sing and praise them, the heroes who won the Nag War. But secretly, it must be due to some pressure, and had to summon the wizards who survived the Nag War. This shocked Makarov. What happened to make Jade, a princess of a country, go so far? Before I tell this matter, please take it seriously. What I said is definitely not non-existent. The Emerald Princess first asked Sol Luo to make psychological preparations, and then began to speak slowly at any time. It turned out that as early as 6 months ago, a man who claimed to be a future man appeared in the palace. He predicted a lot of things. Originally, the Emerald Princess and the ministers of the Kingdom of Fiori didn't believe it. But as more and more things came true, the Emerald Princess had to pay attention to each other. And this future man finally revealed a shocking news. That is, on July 7th of next year, there will be 10,000 dragons descending from the ancient times. 857 in the era of the future man, the appearance of Wanlong destroyed the entire human civilization. He also paid a huge price to shuttle from the future to the present. Its purpose is to prevent this disaster that destroys human civilization. Ahem, Lord Princess, is this news true? Jose showed an expression as if you were teasing me, and asked the Emerald Princess again. As for Makarov, the expression is similar. Soluo was lost in thought. He knew that this happened in the original book, and it is no surprise that the future man is the future Lucy or the future rogue. But this incident seems to have been advanced more than 10 years. It is only 778 years, and the Eclipse Gate event should have been launched in 791. However, Soluo also guessed that it may be due to his own appearance, which caused some huge changes in the future. But this matter is not much different from the Eclipse Gate in his memory. Under normal circumstances, the true function of the Eclipse Gate is to open two different eras together, transporting the children adopted by the dragons 400 years ago to this era. And this matter was completed as early as 777, and Natsu and others also came to this era smoothly. If it is opened again, the door opener of the era 400 years ago is missing. Then this will be a unilateral opening, and it will only attract the arrival of the dragons 400 years ago. But even if he knew these things, Soluo did not say it. Because compared to the appearance of people in the future, if Soluo said that there are 10,000 dragons behind the Eclipse Gate, it is even more difficult for Makarov and others to accept it. Moreover, according to the plan of the future man, the Eclipse Gate should be opened on July 7 a year later. This year's time is enough for the entire Phoenix Guild to undergo tremendous changes. Not to mention other things, just Mirajane and others who practice in the Magic Tower can all become S-rank wizards in less than half a year. If they spend a year of cultivation in the Magic Tower, their strength will only get stronger and stronger, and they may not be incomparably defeated the dragon race 400 years ago. Therefore, Soluo seems to be the same as Makarov and others regarding the disclosure of the future by the Emerald Princess, and it is difficult to accept this. I know you won't easily believe it. If I hadn't witnessed it with my own eyes, I wouldn't have believed in such an absurd thing. Master Alcadios, please show them that box. Seeing the expressions of the three, Princess Emerald looked like she had expected, and motioned to Alcadios to show evidence. Soon, Alcatelius opened a wooden box with 2 pages in it. Soluo walked forward and took it out. Makarov and Jose also leaned close to him, but when they saw the content on the page, they suddenly showed unbelievable expressions. How is this possible? The date turned out to be half a year ago. Princess Emerald, this is too fantastic. Makarov looked at the Emerald Princess, and his eyes revealed an unconcealable shock. Even Soluo couldn't help but narrowed his eyes. There is nothing special on these 2 pages. The first page states that the Phoenix Guild will be inherited by Soluo on May 10, 778 and gradually become stronger. The second page reads that on May 27, 778, the largest wave of monsters in history occurred in the northern part of the kingdom of Fiori. This war between humans and monsters was ultimately won by humans who paid more than 10,000 lives and won it. Later, they called it the Nag War. If you put it now, these 2 book pages are facts that everyone knows. But the problem is that there is a date on the page, which is written on November 28, 777. If there is no problem with this date, it is really left last year. Then this so-called future man may really exist. As you think, these 2 messages were sent to me by the future man 6 months ago. Although at the beginning, I also maintained a questioning attitude. But when the Phoenix Guild really broke away from the state of decline, and under the leadership of President Soluo, it gradually became stronger. I will use part of my power to transport a batch of magic weapons to Neg Town. It is precisely because of this that the loss of the Neg War will drop to only a few thousand people. The words of Princess Emerald reminded Soluo of something unreasonable before. Although the town of Neg has the kingdom of Fiori Third Army, and some magic weapons are used as a deterrent. But in that battle, Agni mobilized too many magic weapons. At first Soluo thought that this was due to Agni's extraordinary status and able to mobilize so many magic weapons. But now it seems that the Emerald Princess is behind this, and Neg Town has so many magic weapons. The weapons that can become strategic magic weapons are extremely destructive weapons. During the non-war period, there were more than 100 in Neg Town, which was amazing enough. As a result, when the Warcraft Tide suddenly launched, Agni was able to mobilize more than 300 aircraft. In this way, if it were not for the predictions of future people, the Emerald Princess would make a change. The Neg War will indeed sacrifice more people. Then Princess Emerald, what do you plan to do next? While Makarov and Jose were still in shock, Sol Luo asked calmly. According to the predictions of people in the future, these things will indeed occur, but they can also be changed. The ending of the Neger War is something that has been corrected. So I plan to do my best to open the Eclipse Gate and launch the cannon to destroy Wanlong. Princess Jade's eyes were extremely firm. Maybe she is still a greenhouse flower, not mature enough. But for the people of the Kingdom of Fiori, as the only heir to the royal family, she decided to take the initiative to destroy Wanlong and protect her people.